Hey, what's up, everybody? Welcome back to the Code Cleric podcast, the podcast where Landon's going to tell me all the elements he remembers from the periodic table.
You can't, dude. It is to be fair, it's 8:45, so it's not that late. But we've been up since
It's been
like
a long day.
-3 in the morning or something like
We
that.
woke up at like a normal human time.
It was
to
a
wake
normal
up.
human
It was
time.
like 8:45.
Hey, it's a little early for me since I'm.
What do you know? Name all the ones you know.
Name all the. I
Name all
know
the ones you remember.
Okay, NA.
You got to say the names of NA. Is not
okay. Which is
what is NA?
Dude, you're really putting me on the spot here, man.
This is way worse than I thought it would
This
be.
like I.
What's the first one?
Listen.
All right, let's bail you out. My name's Jim. I'm joined with my co-host Landon Hansen, who knows literally none of the elements from the periodic table of elements.
No,
Welcome
I don't.
back to
Who knows
Code
that
Cleric.
shit, dude?
I know like most of them probably. I
Yeah,
think.
of course you do. You're a fucking nerd.
Yeah, that's true.
Look at his fucking hoodie.
Listen, we're here. We're at PAX right now. This episode's a little bit different.
Yes.
Usually we're virtual.
I've never seen you before.
This is we met each other for the first time in person like a few days ago.
Yeah.
Which is pretty crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, we're at PAX. We're like at the expo hall, like after hours, just hanging out here, recording this.
I'm gonna be real with you. You're way fatter than I thought you were.
That's fucked up.
Camera, yeah. It's
That
true,
is
man.
fucked up. I don't have a response to that because I was like, genuinely, that was like a thought that came through my head. I was like,
Wait,
I wonder
really?
if he'll see me and be like, damn, this guy's like chunky.
No. I'm kidding, of course.
That's fucked up. You said the one thing I was worried about.
That sucks, dude. I mean, you totally did catfish me, but it's all right.
Yeah, it's
I was
true.
waiting for you at the coffee shop, like I met someone on. Well, I guess I did meet you online, but like,
Yeah.
as if it was like an online dating long distance thing, where it's just like, oh, we're finally meeting we're at the little coffee shop. There he is.
Yeah.
No, wait, is that
And I
Austin
always-
Anjum from YouTube?
Yeah, dude. I present myself so well to Landon. I mean, I present myself super well on YouTube. I like do my hair right before. It doesn't seem like it because my hair is like a ratty mess in all the videos, but it's a rattier mess like in real life. But I don't know. It's like I was like genuinely worried. I was like, he's gonna see me. He's gonna be like,
Nah, dude.
this guy's a mess.
For what it's worth, you're a very handsome guy.
Oh, thank you. That's what I was. That's what all this was leading towards. I was just trying to get that out of you. But yeah, no, we're here. This is your first PAX.
Yes.
This is my second.
Yeah.
So I felt weird being the senior one because I feel like I just went here last year and things have gone by so fast. And yeah, but how was your first experience at PAX?
Wonderful. Like, born Midwest, absolutely nothing going on in the games industry. Maybe Chicago. I think NetherRealm is in Chicago, which cool, but like, yeah, you know.
Yeah.
The only game I cared about was Injustice 2, and that was it. But no, I like the games industry has always been something that seems very far away. That's like, oh, I'll never be there. I'll never experience that. I'll never like actually be in that environment in any real way, shape, or form. And so coming here to Boston, not only a dream come true because I get to see a lot of stuff from Fallout 4, but
Every single place that we've been going to, he's just been like, hey, this is, and he won't say the right. We went to
we saw Fenway Park,
Fenway
and I
Park,
said,
and he
"Oh,
didn't even
look,
refer to it as Fenway
it's
Park."
Diamond City."
Yeah.
Oh, look,
He was
it's
like,
the
it's
rail-
Diamond City. I wasn't paying attention. I was like, oh, is that like a real place around here? And then I look and I'm like, is that fucking Fenway Park he's talking about? Like,
It's the railroad base.
yeah.
It's. I landed at the Brotherhood of Steel headquarters in Boston Logan International Airport.
Yeah.
That's fucking
pretty
sick,
special.
dude.
That's pretty
sick.
cool.
That's so cool.
Yeah, man.
But
you need to
anyways,
touch grass.
I-
You came to a real
oh.
city and you're like, oh my God, it's just like the video game.
It is.
That's
No,
based.
it's nothing like the video game here. That's why I'm disappointed.
That's fair.
They lied to me.
It is not a nuclear wasteland, to be fair.
It is nothing like that.
But it will be when the Celtics lose. My big prediction.
You think I care?
There's gonna be a basketball section in all the podcasts now, and they're all gonna age horribly.
This is what I get for having you as a co-host.
Exactly.
Anyways,
And as a tour guide.
that is true.
yeah.
Yeah. He has been my guide here, not into Boston, but
just
to
yeah,
PAX.
here, PAX.
But getting back to PAX, it's a dream come true. I've always wanted to be here. I've always wanted to, I guess, belong to a bunch of group of gamers, you know?
Yeah, dude.
And
Oh yeah.
I didn't relate to a lot of the crowd here, but I did relate to a lot of the developers here. And it was really cool to see people who were just excited about games, who were passionate about games, like never end, unrelenting dedication to just making video games. It's crazy. Like, never talked to a game developer ever before in my life in person. And these last few days, it's like, oh, game developer, game developer, game developer, game developer.
Yeah.
In a row. And it's like, whoa, I can actually talk to someone in the industry about stuff. It's really cool.
Yeah, we were talking to people last night, and they were talking about how PAX used to be. Like, there's some people who have been going to PAX for like over 10 years.
Yeah.
They've seen it evolve and change. And they're like, yeah, pre-COVID, you know, PlayStation, Xbox, Nintendo used to be here. And there were some indies, but it was like bigger indies, so to speak. And now it's become very, very indie focused, and a lot of the big developers kind of skip it. And so they were like, oh man, you missed the great years. But I think like this version of PAX lets us talk to the people making the games a lot more. Last year, like I talked to Billy Basso. This year we got to talk to, spoiler alert, the people behind Rain World, who made something here that we really want to talk about.
Like not like a passive, like, oh hey, cool, nice to meet you, I like your game, or anything like that. We were engaging in conversation.
We asked them about like where the industry was going and like their thoughts on design and stuff like that. So I think it's really cool for that, and I really appreciate PAX for that.
It really, I know that there's people behind games, but it really is something to meet the people behind the games that you are playing. It puts it into perspective in a way that like you can kind of get online, but not fully. You don't fully understand it because, you know, there's a disconnect there. But here it's human. It's like raw human emotion, and you get to see their passion. You get to see them get excited when our faces light up playing their game. Yeah, you get to see them take input, criticism, like over any aspect of the game that we weren't jiving with, or like discovering any technical problems that they've been running into. Like it's awesome to do that for these people.
It also shifts your perspective, I feel like, because a lot of the times you'll see something show up on Steam, whether it's like an indie game or it's like a bigger game, and you forget that there are people behind it, and so you'll call something like just dog shit, or like, did the people even care when they were making this? And you have this idea of what great games are and what bad games are and what's in the middle, and it's all like very predefined, and you feel like you know the answers to all of this. And the truth is that you, like, the majority of games that are coming by you, save for a few like massive flops, and even then, like, the actual level of quality to them, or like their feature sets, or how capable they are as games, is like well on the higher end of what actually exists worldwide by people making games. Yeah. And so it, like, you really get to sit there and be like, oh, this was something that was like, I see where passion created this, like, this new idea. And I guess you get that appreciation for how much time actually goes into making something that feels that good when it comes to you. Yeah. Even when you might see it and be like, oh, this isn't for me, or this is fine, or this is whatever. It's like, oh no, so much went into that.
Yeah. It's an extension of their personality. It's like, you look at these developers, they're normal people, you know, like maybe like nerdy, reserved, kind of like,
very just a socially guy. Awkward.
Socially
which is
awkward.
Good because we're kind of socially awkward too.
Totally.
So it was really easy to like go and approach people.
Yes.
They were like almost scared of us when you go and like talk to a developer at one of their panels,
because they're presenting an aspect of their personality. They're like putting it out there,
and nobody puts on like the job description of being a game developer that you have to go and like be public facing.
No,
that's not usually why people get into it, and that's why usually you have like PR teams and, you know, people handling that. And there were some, you know, bigger games here that had, I think, more PR people than they had actual game devs.
Yeah.
But if you're representing your own indie game or your small studio, it's like you can't hire extra people just to do PR a lot of the time. So you're just having like the raw emotions of somebody who's been working on something for years and years and years, and you really feel that when you're talking with them.
I can't imagine how important it is for these developers to be here. Like how, in a sense, like overwhelming it probably is.
Well, we talked to like a few people who were like, oh, we signed up, we came here, we kind of took a chance, and we thought that people were just going to pass by our booth.
Yeah.
And they were shocked when like they constantly had a line. Like we went there at different times of the day, and there was always like at least 3-4 people, sometimes up to like 10-15 for some of the bigger indie games. Obviously, like the real big games had even longer lines, but yeah, like they truly don't, like they don't get to understand who's going to connect with things, and we don't really connect with them in the way that we usually do when it's all behind a screen.
Yeah.
So yeah, being here in person, I mean, I'm sure people watching this, like, they've seen PAX coverage before. They're like, and a lot of it is usually like through the screen or like E3 coverage or any kind of conference, right? Mm-hmm. You see that, and it just seems like a normal part of the industry, but you know,
it's different.
It's different being here. It really is.
It's the underdog. It's the little guy that's here. And
we're here. We're not even here as press. We're here like we got our tickets just like anybody else. Like we're just here enjoying and making content after the fact. And it's been great. It's been a really good time.
I mean, it's your second time here at PAX. How are you feeling? Like, is this?
I'm feeling good. Yeah. I like this. I hope it becomes some kind of a yearly tradition to at least go to one games event.
Yeah.
Right. I want to do PAX West at some point. Typically, I'm closer to the West than I am the East. I just have been in the East the last couple of years.
Yeah.
So I'd love to go to PAX West. I mentioned I wanted to go to
Summer Game Fest?
Summer Game Fest. Yeah. Summer Game Fest would be great.
Yeah.
Yeah. Even like GDC. It was a bummer last year that GDC and PAX basically overlapped. I think there was a day where they were both actually happening at the same time.
That's crazy.
It was ridiculous. So it was within a week, and then this year it was just like hard to get to GDC. But yeah, it's been good. It's been nice being here the second time and having somebody here with me, because the first time I went solo, and yeah.
No, definitely. Right. I mean, no thanks to you. I'm actually here because I wouldn't.
No thanks to me.
I mean, big thanks to you that I totally misused that. Big thanks to you that I'm even here, because I just these type of events have always seemed to be like, I guess, out of reach for me. That like it's just like I could, but like I'd rather just focus on what I'm doing right now. And so it's like a thank you for getting me out of my bubble. For like recommending that we do this, because you did it last year, because you got out of your bubble last year to do that. You took a chance and you're just like, I'm just going to go all by yourself. Ballsy as hell.
Yeah. I mean, thanks for being the only one who came. We invited multiple people.
Yes, we did.
You're the only one who showed up.
Yeah.
So I appreciate that.
Yeah. No shade, Isaac. But
yeah. Exactly. Isaac, Kevin, you're being called up by name.
You're gone.
Fuck you both.
You donezo.
Let's talk about some games.
Yes,
Let's talk about the games we actually played over here. Actually, you want to start with the game we didn't play, Elden Ring Night Rain.
Yeah.
So there's a
chance.
There's a chance tomorrow. We're gonna try and get in. Either way, we probably wouldn't be able to play it.
To be fair, no one's playing it.
The people are being selected randomly from the audience.
Wait, randomly?
Yeah. You didn't.
Wait, how did I not get that?
So there's so there's an Elden Ring Night Rain exhibition here. Yeah. It's like this giant purple dome in the middle of PAX. It's pretty cool. And the game comes out soon. I mean, by the time this episode's out, it's going to be like a week away from the game.
Basically.
But just being in this environment and like seeing it in that realm is like really cool. And the tickets to it are selling out within 5 minutes of PAX opening. Yeah. And that is like, you have to be here at like 8 a.m. to be in the queue to get in to even be at the expo hall in the first 5 minutes. So we're having a hard time with it. Maybe we'll be able to get to it tomorrow. We're going to do our best. But mostly it's just you're watching people play. But the way that they have it set up is you have, I believe, one developer. It's a team of 3. It's one developer playing. It's one like professional player of sorts, like professional Elden Ring player or something. And then they select one person from the audience who's watching. So there's like different show times. The audience is watching. They select somebody randomly, and those 3 team up and they try to beat, I believe the Night Lord is what his name is.
Yeah, they try to beat the Night Lord.
Yeah, I don't know who that is.
I don't either.
But it's been the talk of the town. And somebody,
dumb shit.
Yeah. Some people have like shirts that say that they beat the Night Lord because I think you just have to be in the crowd for you to get that. But
you get some free swag.
Yeah.
And I guess a good luck kiss on the forehead.
Something like that,
from
yeah.
the devs.
That would be interesting.
That would be interesting.
Imagine that's like a pre-order bonus.
a kiss from Miyazaki.
Miyazaki like rolls around. Who was the person we said was like Miyazaki in a mask?
Oh, it was his rain.
What the hell was that?
I don't know what the fuck that was Miyazaki.
Yeah.
There was this
him calling Torrent.
So with we were looking at the Night Rain line from we were looking at the dome, the people in the line, and we were like just disgruntled and like, damn, we couldn't get in. This line's even bigger than it was before. Like we kind of missed our opportunity. And I was like, Miyazaki fell off. And I said
we were like, we're gonna talk shit about him like in a video or whatever.
Yeah, I said it kind of loudly. Behind one of the ladies like working.
Not the attendees, the exhibitionists.
Yeah, working.
Not exhibitionists. That's something else.
Oh my god, the lady working at the Night Rain
Do you know
thing.
what an exhibitionist is?
No,
I'm pretty sure that's the term for like somebody who goes around nude in public.
Oh really?
Yeah. I think that's what it's called.
Oh nice.
I was like, she was not an exhibitionist, to be clear.
No, fully clothed. Unlike a lot of people here, and. This is a really long way of saying that I said something really loud behind someone who might have heard me say Miyazaki fell off, even though they're employed by FromSoft to work the booth. And the joke was she pulls off a mask and it's Michael Zaki himself.
Michael Zaki, yeah.
Talking, and he's like, "You said what?" And it's like, "No, Mr. Michael Zaki, I promise you, it was a Josh. It was a joke."
And he's already beating your ass. You can't even get your sense
you see that health bar in your eyes.
That's great. I was like, why the fuck do I hear music? Yeah.
But Night Rain, I'm really excited about it. It's kind of a bummer that we haven't really been able to get in. Hopefully we can do it tomorrow morning if we get lucky. It's a lot less busy tomorrow from what I hear.
I'm more excited to maybe see that showcase than I am to play the game, low key.
Yeah.
Because like I'm excited for the game, but like I don't know. I would just rather
totally like this
single player.
The game we can play at any time. This once in a lifetime opportunity to say that we were here.
Exactly. That's what it is.
It.
And it's also just because I'm like not as excited about Night Rain as I could be, but whatever. That's a bummer that we can't get to that. But
we did get to a lot of other games.
We did get to a lot of other stuff. I want to start with our games of the show.
Yes.
So we'll start with you.
Yes.
What was your favorite game that you saw here?
My favorite game of the show was Airframe Ultra. So for those,
you had to look that up because you've been getting the name wrong all day.
I have been getting the name wrong because
what did you call it? Cyberfuck? Airframe
Bomb Rush Cyberfunk,
yeah,
or Cyberfuck or something. Because I don't know why I'm thinking of Bomb Rush Cyberfunk,
yeah,
which is like not
which is
totally
a completely
not
different kind of game. It's not even remotely close.
Generic, not generic, but like indie title. Like
it's like
word vomit.
It's a bunch of cyberpunk words thrown together. Yeah, Airframe Ultra is the game.
Airframe Ultra is a game, PlayStation 1 inspired graphics. Animation, so it looks like a PS1 game, but animation wise it's very pretty, very innovative, very good looking. Like you look at the PlayStation 1 like N64 style graphics, and it's widely regarded as like the ugliest era of video games. Early 3D, really rough, a lot of shortcuts, a lot of things. Some of it's cool. There's a charm to it, certainly. I think Final Fantasy VII is one of the original Final Fantasy VII is one of the coolest looking games on the planet Earth.
Right.
Those Popeye arms are fucking hilarious though. But it takes that aesthetic, the like jagged kind of PS1 look, makes it modern in the sense with the animation, with the fluidity, and is like a death battle racer where you're on these speed bikes.
They said Twisted Metal was a bit of an inspiration as well.
Right,
on
which
that one.
PS1.
Yeah.
Basically the gist, the gameplay loop here, you're racing. You 3 other people on a track. You race for a good long while. You pick up weapons along the way. You can use weapons like a chain, a gun, a machete.
Yeah.
And you drive to the finish line, but it's not a finish line exactly.
Yeah. Before you get to what's after the finish line,
Yeah.
I also want to say like the race tracks themselves. Something that I noticed at least was they're not really like linear. Like sometimes they kind of go off in these like crazy veering paths, and especially picking up the game, not really getting a hang of the controls. There's like a slight like purposeful jank to it.
Yes.
Like a charming jank to it, and they've done it on purpose.
Yeah.
But like sometimes you don't know the exact route, and we were really unfamiliar with it. And there are points where you're like driving through, and it almost looks like you're driving through this like big PS1 city. Like it's still funneled to like, obviously it doesn't let you go like everywhere or anything like that.
Yeah.
But I didn't even feel like I was on the same racetrack as everyone else.
No.
So the racing element of it was really...
It wasn't you versus other players in the racing sense. It was you versus the environment.
Kind of.
You had to like...
But you still want to win.
You still want to win.
Winning will get you like points, essentially.
But I wasn't stressed about you. Exactly. I was stressed about the cars coming at me, and it's like a head-on collision, and I fucking die.
Yeah.
But it's not like, and it's not, you're not glued to your bike either, because you can get knocked off of it, and you like your bike can just be gone too, which is really interesting. And so when you get to the quote unquote finish line,
right?
It's not a finish line. It's a death battle arena where you are off the bikes now and you gotta fucking kill each other.
Yeah.
You find weapons. You get weapons after you die. Like you like have
you can
money.
collect like money while you're like driving, and that can like help you buy weapons.
And it's a very strange, like almost like you're puppeting this character. And you just try and kill each other. It's okay. The controls are not perfect. It's like, intentional.
Yeah, intentionally imprecise. Like even when you're firing, there's no aim, and there's also no reticle.
No.
Like you're shooting in the general direction of where your enemy is. I wasn't sure if I was hitting you a lot of the time.
I wasn't either.
But again, like a very easy way to fix that, if they wanted to, is to put a reticle.
Yeah.
They didn't put a reticle on purpose because there's that chaotic, I think you said panicked element to it for in both the racing and in the gameplay. In the combat, sorry.
No, you're fine. What it reminded me of the most was in classic Resident Evil PlayStation 1 era. It's not that archaic. It's not that level, but it's the same feeling where because the controls are so stilted and like tank, slow, when you encounter an enemy in that game and you're shooting, you feel panicked because you feel like you don't have control over the situation in the way that you would want to. And it's that, but in a multiplayer deathmatch kind of thing where it's like way more obtuse, I guess. Yeah. To where like, oh, you can jump out of the way, jump into cover, and like run and be like, no, please don't get me, please stop. You grab a gun and it's like, call an ambulance, but not for me.
Exactly.
And then just totally fucking blast them,
you have
catch them
more
off guard.
Capability and like the actual functionality of the game is so far and away above what a PS1 game was doing.
Yes.
But it's taking that, like you're saying, like almost tanky feeling of it.
Yes.
And panicked feeling of it.
Which is so interesting.
Air wrapping it. And then like the structure of the game where you're racing and then you're fighting and then you're racing and then you're fighting and you're not, so like essentially the way they described it to us on the first day, that wasn't when we played it. We played it today, but yesterday they were like, if you're bad at racing but really good at the combat sections, you can lose every race and still potentially win the overall game. Yeah. And vice versa. And if you're a really good balance of both, you probably have a better chance at both. But it's just like, just a really dynamic game. There's co-op, there's local co-op, there's also online co-op. And this was also, by the way,
the creators.
The creators of Rain Worlds. Yeah. So this is the game that we were mentioning.
Huge left field.
Yeah.
You think of, we were talking with them about it, where like they were making Rain World for how long? Like 12 years?
I think it said 12 years.
12 years making this really like somber, melancholic game. Yeah. Very impressive game.
Yeah.
Super, like probably one of the most impressive indie
Yeah.
games
People
created.
We're both not the most familiar with Rain World. Like we both know of it. We know
what
I've
it
interacted
does.
with it a little bit, but
Yeah.
we're not like super familiar with it.
The whole-
but I know the ecosystem and like
Yes.
the animals and like how everything works and the way that game makes you think like to get your way through it is really impressive.
Mm-hmm.
And what was the first question that you asked them about like when you heard about their like left turn out of this? You were like, was it hard to get out of the shadow of Rain World or like do something completely different?
They were eager.
They were like, no. They were like, oh, we were like so quick to get out of there.
Yeah, no, like it's such a hard pivot, and it's so cool because it's like you can tell that they're like, yeah, we can do like cool sad indie game, but check this shit out, and it's just like the coolest thing you've ever seen.
Yeah,
like super
it's
rad
not,
motorbikes and like deathmatch with fucking guns and chains. Like super cool motorcycle helmets. You get to customize your characters too, which I looked that up on the Steam page.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah, which that sounds really interesting.
Yeah, it does.
Because I thought the character design was really cool, but I mean those might be like just templates.
Yeah.
It's very much not like, it's a vibe for sure, but it's not like a single player vibe based game. It's a multiplayer kind of party game.
Yeah.
Where you and your friends vibe out to this really cool world and just totally try and kill each other.
Yeah. It can also be 1v1. They mentioned that. We didn't get to do that, but they mentioned that they can do a 1v1 mode.
I wouldn't mind checking that out tomorrow.
Doing that, throwing that together. And to be clear, when we're saying that they were eager to get off Rain World, it's not like they don't dislike that game or making it or anything like that. They were just like, we want to do something completely different. Maybe we go back to like a somber game after this. Who knows?
Yeah.
But
super interesting.
Yeah. The last thing I'll say about that game is they talked about, true badassery when we talked to them about this. They were like, oh, everyone thinks being a badass is like that super sleek, pristine, like choreographed and like getting everything right kind of vibe. And they were talking about how to them, like, a real badass scene is like crawling through the mud and just like barely getting by and everything.
And you feel it.
And like, like it's interesting to describe it like that. And then you look at the game and you're like, well, there's no crawling through the mud or anything like that here. But the idea of it being so kind of out of your control, but
you're
kind
like,
of in your control. And if you pull something off that's crazy because you had some control over it and you like just barely managed to like get away from it, you feel cool.
You're scraping by and you feel good about yourself, but it's like, I'll take credit for that, but how much of that was me? How much was that of me, really?
Versus like it just happened.
Listen, this is such a high octane situation. I'm taking the credit.
Exactly.
And it's fun. It's super fun. And I'm on the lookout for it. It's wish list. It's good. When is it released?
Yes. So I have some Airframe Ultra. It's by Video Cult. If you don't know the developers of Rain World, Video Cult. TBD release date.
Yeah.
And you can play the demo on Steam right now. So if you guys are interested, there should be trailers out. You can play the demo on Steam. Mm-hmm. Airframe Ultra was a really good time.
Cool. So that was my game.
That's your game of the show.
My game of the show.
Yeah.
One of the ones I had the most fun with, but we both really, 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 really loved one game in particular here at PAX EAST 2025.
Yeah.
And I want you to introduce
my game of the year.
This fucking beast right here.
Yeah. Cyberlich.
Yes.
Which, this, first of all, shout out to the devs.
Yes.
We got a chance to talk to the devs a couple of times and just good dudes.
Yeah.
It was just fun hanging out with them. Really good time. Cyberlich it's a boomer shooter. Mm-hmm. And there's been a resurgence of boomer shooters recently, and there's been a lot of really good ones, and I've played a lot of really good ones. And they all kind of have their own thing. And this one, I think what really stands out with this one is, first of all, the art.
Yes.
It's not boomer shooter in the way that it looks. It's boomer shooter in the way that it like what it's emulating, and some of the level design where you're kind of going through like hallways to go grab a key, and then you open up a door, and then you go through there. Very like classic Doom inspired in that way.
The sprite work, not necessarily with how it's animated, but with how it like
the
faces
cardboard,
towards you.
like paper cutout,
the 2D
in
like,
a 3D
look to
way.
it,
Yeah, exactly. Even when you're circling around a large enemy and it like continually faces towards you, even when it's dead.
Yeah.
So it keeps those, but it has this like kind of Adult Swim-esque visual style.
Think of nasty adult animation where it's just like cheeseburgers, weed, guns, barbarians, cool skeletons, awesome demons, fire, dumb corporations.
And it's just like, it's all white and red, and it's just like, the color
not even
palette
red,
really
it's
hits.
like a bright, like a red pink, like a hot pink.
Yeah.
Which is really cool.
So art is something that I think really sets that game apart, but I also think just the overall idea behind it, the vibe of that game. So the concept of it is that there's this one company called Lich Corp, and it's like the only company in the world.
Yeah.
I believe like it's the only place where you can get hired.
Yeah.
And so they can get away with the shittiest business practices. It's like this, there's been a lot of like anti-capitalist games, just like over the top anti-capitalist. I mean, even Outer Worlds is like very anti-capitalist, tongue in cheek. This is like, let's take it to the absolute extreme. It is one monolithic corporation. It literally has a building that is a monolith in the sky. Yeah. And it intros on like you looking at that monolith and coming down all the way to the bottom, and like the sign on the bottom is like, poor, eat dog food. It's really like, we don't give a fuck about you.
No.
If you don't work here, and you work here, and if you die, you get turned into a skeleton, like you're just reborn, and you will never leave.
Literally worked to the bone.
Exactly. Exactly. And then it's like, there was a small little dialogue exchange where it's like, these employees are asking too much. You give them a 10-minute lunch break, and now they're asking for weekends off.
Lazy.
So the whole point is like this entire company is just ultra evil. Yeah. And like your character, he is a self-appointed what is it? Chaotic neutral barbarian with a GED. Yes. That's his thing. And very strange. Like he has like a big ass stomach face thing that he uses to eat cheeseburgers or something. And like I don't know what it was. It was like this like plant stomach.
I think that's literally just his mouth.
Really?
Yeah, like.
Oh, I thought that it was coming from like here.
No, like he's like a fat. Well, listen, I don't know for sure. You don't see the character really.
Yeah, it's like first person shooter.
But like from my memory, he's like generally like fatter guy.
Okay.
And then like from your perspective, it's a really animated kind of like mouth.
Okay. I was wondering. I was like, why does he have like a little? Like it almost looks like the plant from Harley Quinn.
Yeah,
you ever watch that show?
Yeah,
yeah. Like I forget his name. Frank.
Yeah,
yeah. It kind of looks like that coming out of your stomach,
basically. But anyways, eating a cheeseburger and smoking a blunt.
You go around, you eat cheeseburgers. You like smoke a joint. It's like very again like.
Cheeseburgers for health.
Cheeseburgers for health and
weed for mana, which is bullets.
Yeah, like it's used to reload. So if you run out of bullets, you have this like unlimited stash of weed that you need to smoke in order to get your like quote unquote mental health back.
Yeah, because like the very first like NPC you encounter is this like wizard guy who's talking to you, and you're like,
I think he's like
I'm kind of nervous.
CEO.
I should smoke some weed before I talk to him, whatever. And it's like a 2-second animation where he like takes the match, lights it off his foot, sucks the thing, one pull.
The overlay of your mouth with the joint in it takes up like half the screen.
Yes.
This is the one thing that I think they should like roll back on just a little bit is like the amount of overlays on there. You have a giant cheeseburger, you have your gun, you have this like UI on the sides. When you're getting hit, there's like a huge blood effect that takes up like 25% of the screen. That's like the one thing that I would say needs like a little bit of work, but everything else, and it sounds like it could very easily be like edgelord bullshit, like just as a concept and everything, and but it's just packaged so well, and even the fact that he's like smoking and having cheeseburgers and stuff like that,
super funny.
It's specifically also like you're trying to chill at this like company that is working people to the bone.
Yeah.
So it's just juxtaposing those two things. They still do like a really, really good job of that. And the devs are also, they're kind of new to this. Even the artist who is doing a fantastic job.
Yeah.
You said he did like amateur art for the most part, and this is his first real big.
No, he was in animation.
Oh, he was in animation.
Yeah.
Okay.
I'm totally projecting right here. Like, this is just what I'm gathering right now. The entire game, very anti-capitalist, very like against selling your soul to like work in a cubicle.
Yeah.
Like, it's embracing this kind of like, be a cool ass barbarian if you want to be a cool ass barbarian. Me, I'm real as fuck type beat. And so yeah, he worked in animation, was making. And with animation generally, it's a very hard industry to get into. A lot of it's kind of like you want it to be one for you, one for me. Mm-hmm. But a lot of animation is one for you, another one for you. Yeah. Here's another one for you. And you're making art. You're making other people's art. This is his first time that he's actually making something that's 100%. Not 100% is because he's working on it with other guys, but he has complete like visual control over this.
I gotcha.
This is his animation, and it's like, it's so interesting because one game you can compare this to is, it's a game that's not out yet, Mouse.
Yeah.
Which is the rubber hose kind of like Steamboat Willie boomer shooter that
a lot of people have compared to Cuphead just because rubber hose style.
Right.
It's also an FPS.
Yeah.
Also has that same like cardboard cutout style of the old Dooms.
Looks really cool. And I guess what makes this even more impressive than Mouse to me is that it's a totally new art style. Yeah. Mouse is trying to replicate an art style that's already been done, which is a really cool art style, and that's awesome. Yeah. Like Cuphead fucking knocked out of the park, and that's one of the best indies ever made. But this one it's totally new. It's like it's a totally original art style. Definitely like rooted in like cool counterculture, like Adult Swim-esque, like adult animation.
It looks like something Adult Swim, if they were still around and publishing games, would maybe produce. It also looks like something Devolver would produce.
Yes, but and I guess I can feel with him in particular. I feel like I can feel his frustration with the animation industry, and him just going like putting his shoulder into it, where it's like, fuck that shit I had to deal with. Yeah, fuck all the middle management. There's literally like a
middle manager like mini boss. We didn't get to fight it because it's not in this demo yet. But
it's the entire point is just so counterculture, and it's awesome. I love it, and I love that spirit. The guys are great. They're such a joy to talk to. They're so stoked. Yeah, they were one of the devs that they weren't expecting to have such a big pull with the audience here. Yeah, but even us, like,
we saw it from like a mile away. It felt like like PAX is big. There's a lot of games and everything, and I think it helped that where it was placed, because it's kind of placed on like a corner, like next to an aisle. Mm-hmm. So that does help it a lot. But literally, we were going through, and we weren't even like trying to go in and look at games at the time. We were just like beelining towards something else. Yeah, and we were both like, "Oh shit, what's that?" Yeah. Yeah,
and it caught our eye. The animation, the style caught our eye.
Even like the cover art.
Art. That's what I told the animator. I was like, dude, like, you knocked it out of the park with this, because the reason why we're all here is because of your work. Yeah, and he was getting really giddy about it. He was like, that was so kind.
Super nice guys. And, and like the other thing with the booth was like they printed out all these like posters that would take place in universe, like all employees must be armed, or like this crazy art of one of the characters, and just like plastered it all across, almost like propaganda.
And it's a noose.
Hang in there. It's a noose, exactly. Like there was some just like, and the game's really funny, and it's hard to be like an authentically funny game. And again, this could have been edgelord bullshit. Like the concepts here, it's very easy to go off the end of that and just be like,
it's very absurdist.
This is kind of this is a little much, but I think they just nail it. They did a really good job. And it was my game of the show. It could have totally been your game of the show.
It was. It genuinely like. Yeah, it is my game of the show, but like we both agreed to like highlight one big game. And so
exactly. In terms of a little bit more information. Polyhedra Games is the studio.
Based out of New York. From what I
Are
heard.
they based out of New York? They
Yeah.
are based out of New York. I'm pretty sure. Yeah. They have a Kickstarter coming out soon. So the Kickstarter should be out in 3 months. It's not like fully confirmed. If you guys like crowdfunding games, I'm very impressed at the amount of. There was an arena mode and a demo for the story mode here, and they're both really, really solid. And that's all before getting external funding from anybody. So if it shows up on your Kickstarter, first of all, go and pre-save it. If you're listening to this, I think we'll be putting all of the links to at least anything that has a Steam page or something like that.
Yes.
We'll be putting that in the comments. If it's not on the comments on Spotify and Apple Podcasts, we'll definitely you definitely just like go ahead and send it over. What's up?
You're so you know how like when I put the thumbs up,
yeah.
it does that. You did like a thumbs down, and it did it over your face. So it was like as if it was just like acid.
This guy fucking sucks, dude.
Stinks.
Damn.
It's really funny. Anyways, go on. I'm sorry.
Pre-save it on Kickstarter. If you're watching this when the Kickstarter's live, go check it out. It's really fleshed out for something that hasn't like been fully funded. TBD release date, obviously, because Kickstarter, and then you can get like stretch goals and everything like that. So, that's all good to know.
Yeah.
And also, we snagged a quick little interview with them.
Well, soon.
Yeah, technically the interview's
Hopefully.
happening tomorrow.
Yeah, no. By the time this is released, we'll like the interview.
Yeah,
will be
we'll have the interview. So
alongside it.
you know what? Let's just play that right now.
Hey, it's me, editing Landon. The interview turned out to be a little too long to put into the podcast, so it's up on the Code Cleric fucking channel page right now. So go check it out. It's really fun. It's really cool. Really chaotic. There are some wonderful guys. Okay, back to the podcast now. Bye. Mwah. Mwah.
We've gone to games of the show for both of us. There was a lot of other stuff that we want to talk about.
Yes.
Specifically, there's 5 games each, one being our game of the show,
yes,
that we both want to highlight. And then we want to kind of go rapid fire through some other stuff that we found interesting, but maybe it's still like very early on, or we just didn't get as much time with it, or maybe it's not quite our thing, but we still want to talk about it, and we still had some... I think I had a good experience with basically everything I played.
Pretty much,
this weekend.
Like,
so
there's only like a couple things where it's like I feel bad playing this because I'm not liking it, and I don't want to tell them I don't like it. But
but actually, do you want to talk about one of the games that you didn't like? Because
yes,
this was one that we were excited for, and this isn't an indie game, so you can be a little bit meaner if you want.
I'm gonna tear their ass asunder.
I didn't think it was that bad. But,
well, yeah.
Crimson Desert had a booth here.
Crimson Desert, made by what's
Pearl Abyss.
Pearl Abyss, responsible for, was it Black Desert?
I believe, if I'm not mistaken, it's Black Desert Online.
Black Desert Online.
That's the MOBA, and so now they wanted to do like this. I believe it was supposed to be DLC at first, and it was supposed to be a lot smaller.
Yeah.
And then it spun off into this whole thing, and it's, people have been calling it a like realistic Breath of the Wild.
Yeah.
And you like glide around and it's big, and there's some really great, like the video that we saw of it, and also the showings that I've seen just virtually of this game. They all make it look very impressive, and a lot of really great animation, and a lot of really great environments, and just big beefy story and everything.
Yeah.
Talk about the experience that we went through, which it's not as bad as I think we're kind of making it out to be right now. But
the way it was presented just left a very bad taste in my mouth. So first of all, line's huge. That's expected. Big game.
It wasn't even that bad. I don't think.
It wasn't that bad. We kind of we tried to get in twice. The second time we did get in. The first time we literally got cut off.
Yeah, we were the last. We were the first people to get cut off, and actually the second time
we almost got cut off
because only one of us should have been allowed in. We were like the middle of us was the cutoff,
and the guy was like,
"Oh, I think somebody's just gonna watch." So
yeah. So like, get on in here, and it worked out just fine. So yeah, the wait time wasn't awful. There was a lot of people that were waiting way longer than us.
Yeah.
But they funnel you into this little room, and they have a big TV for you, and they show off what Crimson Desert is. 15-minute long video.
Yeah.
Explain,
not a bad video.
Not bad, but like explained kind of like, this is the world of Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
You are blah, blah, blah. And
You got a
you are
good
in the world
announcer
of
voice.
Figglefuck. And this is Crimson Desert.
Yeah.
And like, so to be fair, generic fantasy world,
Yeah.
which is fine, whatever. As long as the game's fun, it's cool. Like the characters look cool, the world looks cool, and everything like that. It's just very like like milk
Yeah,
toast
it
to
is,
me.
yeah.
And then they're like explaining, here's the combat systems. And then like throwing a bunch of controls at you.
Yeah, it was really fast that they were throwing the controls, and then they had like the visual taking up the majority of the screen of like what it is, what the action is.
Yeah.
And then like an outline of a controller telling you what button to hit.
Yeah.
But it would happen so quickly because it would like if it was a button press, the thing would only be highlighted for the length of like a button press.
Yes.
It wasn't just like highlighting it for the duration of like just like while this overlay was on screen. So I was missing what the button press was in favor of looking at what the action was.
Yeah.
And so I didn't pick up on the controls for a little bit.
No.
And they had a little cheat sheet, like
They
to be
did.
fair.
Yeah, which helped.
But when you actually like got out, because they funnel you into that tunnel and then we go out and we play the game. And
no time to mess with the controls at all. You're just
because you only have 15 minutes, and they mention how like you got to go through things like quickly, so you kind of just want to ride out.
And they give you 4 scenarios.
Yeah,
They like all like they go in difficulty. So it's like this the
Not in
first
difficulty,
one
in time.
in time, but
yeah.
like I guess
difficulty-ish. I guess.
difficulty like in relevancy to time.
Yeah.
To where it's like this is a pretty simple boss, not long at all. You can play this one. This boss might take you a little longer, might be a little bit more complex. This boss was a horde, basically.
Yeah, but I didn't know that.
But
going
you didn't
in.
know that.
They just told us this will take the least amount of time, second most
And then
amount of time.
the most time.
Yeah.
And the most time was the one that was most interesting to me.
Yeah.
I'm a really big Shadow of the Colossus guy.
Yeah.
Super huge into that game. Love it, love it, love it with all my heart and soul. That game made me come. So seeing that,
It's fucked up, man. Isn't that
Neuron-
game like about a child?
no,
He's pretty young.
not he doesn't make me come. The game, the
All right.
Colossi.
All right.
You ever scale a Colossi? Best nut in the world.
Jesus Christ.
Anyways. So the last one, very Shadow of the Colossus, Breath of the Wild coded, where you're climbing this like
Shadow of the Colossus light. Let's be clear.
Light.
It's
not exactly.
he was like a big crab,
Big
dude,
crab
but he
guy.
wasn't nearly the size of like a Colossus.
Similar to
or
like a
something.
stone talus in Breath
Yeah.
of the Wild, where
Yeah.
you climb them, you hit the rock, and it's their weak spot, and then they crumble and fall.
Mm-hmm.
So I chose that one. It looked the most interesting to me.
They
I
also
understood.
showed in the video like you Spidey swinging.
Yes, there's
to,
a
like,
spider silk thing.
like
that
literally
you
like
activate.
Spider-Man. You like go up, you attach your web, you swing, you come up, and you slam down.
Yes.
It looked crazy.
Super cool.
Yeah.
I think this game suffers from being overly complicated control wise,
Which might be a problem with the
might
demo.
be with the demo
Yeah.
because we only had 15 minutes to mess with it and not like in like an
And they
open
start-
range.
Yeah, they start you in that like
they
Assassin's Creed ass like
yeah, like animus thing. You
Animus
like pick
where
your
you
side.
have to pick, and then it like takes a while to load in. And I was like, give me another
Like,
fucking-"
okay,
yeah.
oh, now I'm in a cutscene now. Okay, great.
Yeah.
All right, I got to watch these two dumbasses talk, and it's like, okay, let me play the fucking game. Cool,
And I
I'm in
didn't
it.
want to skip the cutscene because I was like, I assume they have it in here for a reason.
Right,
Yeah.
you can't skip the cutscene. I
You can't?
tried.
Really?
Yeah.
Oh shit.
And so yeah, like the controls are very complicated. I don't know if they're overly complicated because of the time that I had, or
think that might be
because
it.
it might be it, or because it is overly complicated because they're trying to do too much with it.
yeah.
So my main problem with this, there's okay. The crab thing comes up. You climb him. You hit the rocks, and then Shadow of the Colossus style. You grab onto the thing. You stab your sword into
Yeah.
him, and then he's like, "Ah!" You fall off. You do it again. You
Yeah.
fell off, and that's what I was trying to do. There's no run and jump with it. So it's like you kind of got to like maneuver up to him. Then you press square to like grab.
Yeah.
Then you're grabbing, you're climbing, and it's like, okay, climbing feels like all right. Then you like try and get to like one side, and it's like, okay, why can't I not go up here? Because like his little rock thing is like a little bigger than the side like that I'm trying to climb. So you got to climb around it. Then you're at the rock. Then you got to like do the palm thing where you break open the rock, and then I'm in the air. Because every time this boss slams down, which is very frequently, very, very frequently, he slams, no matter how much stamina you have, no matter how hard you're grabbing onto him, you will always get launched into the air. And you have to use a glider to get down. And so by the time you're launched in the air, you probably don't have a lot of stamina. And it's like, okay, I don't want to waste my stamina all on my glider because then I'm going to fall. And so it's like, okay, I'm going to time this out. Not the very last second that I hit the ground, but like relatively close to when I hit the ground, I'm going to use my glider. Press the glider button, just like, oh, you didn't pull it out fast enough. It didn't work. You didn't, like, for some reason, you didn't have enough stamina to do it.
Yeah.
The stamina meter is a little confusing. Like, it's not easily
It's not easy
read.
to read. It's like this, because the
Really,
one in Breath of the
like,
Wild,
it's
like,
a green
is
circle.
a full green circle, and it's like it's just all green circle.
Yes.
And you can see the green circle going down.
Yes.
And this one was like this yellow outline around a diamond that was also kind of yellow.
Yeah, it's
And I was
intricately
like, I don't-
as hell.
Like when you're actually playing and like so much is going on around you, and it's also more visually cluttered than Breath of the Wild is.
Yeah.
It was really hard to tell where my stamina bar was.
Right.
And again, a lot of this could potentially be better like when you have more time with
Yes.
it.
That
But
like
the
keep that
shock
in
of
mind.
it, yeah.
Keep that in mind the entire time we're talking about this. This
Yeah.
is just like the experience that was given to us here at PAX in this booth.
And it should
I'm-
be noted also,
Yeah.
I'll say this early, this demo isn't out to the public.
No.
So this was something exclusive that we played.
Yeah.
I am still of the opinion that it might just be a demo thing, but it did seem like you were struggling a lot with the controls, and like it almost felt like I don't know how many, if any, other bosses have similar mechanics to this one, but it almost seemed like a boss design that the game technically can handle, but it clearly wasn't designed around in the right way.
No, certainly not, because it's meant to be. I mean, what they were trying to do is like, okay, let's do Shadow of the Colossus and then some, or it's like we're designing this game, let's put Shadow of the Colossus in it. You know, where it's like you scale these like monolithic beasts, and you hit their weak points. And there's a way Shadow of the Colossus plays that's very. Now that game doesn't control the best.
Yeah.
It's known for that. But it still controls in a way that feels like, can I do this? Like, can I get away with this? And you can.
Yeah.
To where it's like, all right, I've been clinging onto this beast for a long time now. My stamina is super low. I'm going to let go, see if I can stay on for a little bit longer before he shakes me off. And then last second, I can grab onto him when he does like the big shaking move. And it's like, cool, I got him. And I can recover more stamina while I'm still on him. It's like a balancing act with it. That's not here at all.
Yeah.
So it's incredibly frustrating when you are trying to recover some stamina because it took a lot of stamina to get up to the point that you needed to hit the weak point. And then all of a sudden you're launched in the air and it's like, oh, great. I got to do this all over again. You land back out on his back. You try to get there. You're clinging on for dear life. You're trying to preserve more stamina. You let go for a second to like recover some. The recovery is super slow.
Yeah.
And then you cling on. Doesn't matter how hard you cling on, you still get launched in the air. And it's like, oh my God, okay.
Yeah.
So I really gotta like hustle my ass and find this stone and get it. The last stone was like, it was really hard for me to find too, which kind of sucked. I mean, that's part of my fault. I just couldn't see. But even like when I was like scanning the area and it's like, okay, this looks like a weak point for me. I did the move to hit it. It didn't register because it was like
Slightly off
every which way because the guy was moving constantly. So it's like, well, I pressed it on there. Why did it not work? Oh, that must have not been where it was. So I spent a lot of time just trying to find the fucking rock. Yeah. And at this point, it was relatively soon. One of the guys who was working the booth, he was there with me the entire time. Yeah. He was like, oh, this guy's struggling.
He's like, oh, it's a game journalist. I see.
and he's like, you gotta do heavy attack. And it's like, I'm trying to do heavy attack, but when I'm on the thing, it's not registering whether or not I'm actually clinging onto him. and then I can hit the heavy attack. When I hit the heavy attack, it's not hitting for some reason. Sometimes the heavy attack feels like it only works when I hold the light attack and do the heavy attack. And it's like, is this me being stupid, or is this game not controlling the way I feel like it should control?
Listen,
and albeit, like, yeah.
All I'm going to say, there was a guy to my left. You were on my right. There's a guy to my left fighting the same boss, and he beat him.
God damn it.
That's all I'm
Motherfucker.
That's all I'm going to say.
I could be really bad at this game. But I feel like
maybe he's a Black Desert Online player.
That's true.
That's
Real
it.
gooner shit right there, man. Maybe he has.
I don't think that's
I don't know. It could be.
You just seem deflected. You're deflecting. You're a little bit upset.
Listen, I'm a little miffed.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm allowed.
Yeah, because you're bad at the game. That's understandable.
It is
my.
But like, okay, let me wrap up real quick.
Yeah.
So the guy was there with like over my shoulder the entire time. Which did not help because I felt even more pressure. I'm using exploding arrows to like hit random points to see if like it exposes the like weak point.
I see.
And it's like, oh, okay. So then like the back of the thing's on fire, and it's like, oh, I caught myself on fire. And the guy was like, how did you catch yourself on fire? And I was like, I got exploding arrows, dude. Jesus Christ. And then like the countdown's like 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. I finally got the last fucking thing. And then you have to do the Spider-Man thing to like slam into the top of him and hit him.
Yeah.
And
I
almost got there. Yeah. And then he's like, but to do the Spider-Man thing, you got to like jump, push yourself up, and then activate.
It was like a little bit more complicated than just like a grapple hook or something like that. Yeah,
which is cool. Fine. Like,
cool.
If that's how you designed it, that's how you designed it. But like, it wasn't like I tried doing it like a couple of times. I didn't get it. Last second, I had the web, and then game over.
Yeah,
was done.
Kicked you off. Yeah,
I was so upset.
That sucks.
I like genuinely. I'm. A part of me is upset because like maybe I shouldn't have picked that boss. Maybe I do suck, but I felt like the demo itself was not enough time to mess with the controls. It was not nearly, the controls weren't like intuitive enough to like understand like a first moment's notice. Where
it was like a thing where parry was not hitting L1. Like L1 was the block. Parry was not hitting L1 at the right time.
Yeah.
It was holding block and then pressing the attack button at the right time, which again, it's like it's been done in games before. I think Metal Gear Rising Revengeance does something like similar, but like it's hard to like pick that up in like this demo kind of session as well. And even to lock on. I don't know if you knew this, but to lock on, you had to hold the block button. If you let it go,
drains stamina.
Yeah.
So it's like in order to lock on, you have to drain stamina.
That was a weird choice.
Super weird.
Yeah. No, yeah, that sucks. From my perspective, I'll go super quickly on this, but like I played a different boss. I didn't realize it was a horde boss. Not a full horde boss, but it was like a witch and then a lot of ads. So like additional enemies that were kind of swarming me, and she was also teleporting around. So it was a lot of my least favorite things in boss design, because especially trying to figure out like the controls, and the person that I'm fighting keeps running away from me, and then other enemies keep coming in. I was like, I didn't have a second to like breathe and learn some of this stuff, which sucked. So like I didn't realize that like I knew there was a kick move. I was trying to use it. I didn't even know that it was like the Y button on Xbox, and like I should have tried that at some point, but with how crazy it was getting at all the time, I was like, maybe I did try it and it just didn't fully register and I got hit out of it or something. But like, yeah, that was kind of annoying, and it felt a little bit hack and slashy, which is fine. And you know, there were some cool elements to it. The cutscene was kind of cool. Even like the finisher cutscene, you kind of get chased through this house, and she blows up like parts of it, and it's very cinematic. And I like the presentation a lot. And there's elements that I really like, especially when I look at the game. I'm like, oh, I can see where the fun is here.
Yeah.
And coming from a MOBA background,
it's
I
super
think
cool.
Like the cities and the systems and all that kind of stuff, I think it has a lot of potential and it's definitely going to find an audience, but it didn't feel great.
No.
It didn't feel fantastic, and that's a bit of a bummer, because that was something I was really looking forward to.
Yeah. I guess to put a cap in this, it's like I'm still open minded to it. I'm definitely a lot less excited about it than I was initially. Not that I was like over the moon about this game, but like I was like really curious because it does like the idea of a Breath of the Wild that's like realistic and I guess like that does things that Breath of the Wild doesn't do. That can't because it's mature, because it's realistic looking relatively. Is super exciting, and it's super exciting to see more Chinese games like this too, like single player Chinese games, which is really awesome. But just didn't hit. It didn't hit the way I thought it should have hit, and maybe that was me. But I'm kind of a big gamer. South Korean. I'm so sorry. I'm racist. They all look the same to me.
Welcome back to Code Cleric. Welcome back to Code Cleric, the podcast where Landon's racist for 2.5 hours.
All the time.
Yeah.
No, I was homophobic last episode.
That's true, but that got cut out.
There was a tinge of racism to it.
Yeah, as well. Yeah. You kind of had a double whammy, and it got cut out.
It did get cut out,
but
I'm not going to let you know what it is. I'm the most liberal guy here.
Here, there's two of us.
I mean, here.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
I was like, I guess I'm the far right one.
I mean, you are on my right side.
That's true. Absolutely.
God bless.
Now, a game that we didn't get to play, but this is one of my favorite just moments of the entire show.
Yes.
Was Mafia. This is the first thing that we did. Also, we got in to the event,
had our shit on us. We were like Death Stranding.
A ton of like we asked like 14 people where the coat check was, and it was like this mystical thing, and somebody was like, go check out the hotel next door. Like they were really saying it was a wild goose chase. It's just upstairs. We found it on the last day, basically.
Yeah.
And we were like, God damn it, there's been a coat check here the whole time. But we were just lugging our shit around. But anyways, we go in there with like these full ass backpacks, and right as you step in, it's this massive hall. It's like I didn't go to any of. I don't know if there was any, and if there was, I didn't go to like a big showing at PAX in the main theater last year. This is my first time going there, and it was like, whoa, this is what it must feel. And even a light version of this, but like to be at like an E3 conference of sorts or something like that. And they immediately give you a poster of Enzo and the rest of the Mafia cast from Mafia 4.
Very cool looking poster. Very like theatrical kind of.
Damn, is that a sexy man?
Dude, everyone in this cast
that is the hottest game of all time. That's
a
what
smash.
Like, oh my God.
The Don, bro?
Even the Don, like who's like an old.
I just want to be held in his arms.
Exactly. Like he's a little bit older, you know?
The Gray Fox.
But he seems like he would be a gentle lover.
Yeah, like I just want to lay between his breasts.
The guy who plays him got on like had like a little video call into the conference.
Very soft, sensual, whispery, raspy kind of voice.
Yeah,
like this.
Yeah,
and everyone, even the guys on stage, they were like, "He's hot."
Yeah, he's hot,
and it's cool, and that's sick.
Again, hottest video game of all time. I think there was like a prerequisite that you had to like. Like people came off of Love Island straight to the Mafia set. But like, I mean, Mafia 4, as somebody who is like, it's hard for me to say I'm a big Mafia fan. I've played I've played the Definitive Edition a couple times.
Yeah. I've
played Mafia 3. I've played a chunk of Mafia 2, but it's the only one where, and I know that's the one that everyone loves the most for the most part, but by the time that I got around to it, it was showing its age a little bit. And obviously Mafia 1 way older, but they had the remaster or the remake, and so that's how I got into that one. And I played Mafia 3 a little bit closer to its release, so it didn't feel old. So yeah, Mafia 2 I've always had a hard time getting into, but I love the vibe of those games. I love how serious they take themselves, honestly. They're the only GTA-like that I feel has this very strong, consistent identity, and even if it's not always like a commercial success, because actually none of the Mafia games have done like incredibly well, critically.
Yeah.
None of them have done super, super well critically. I actually don't think any of them have over an 80 on Metacritic.
Really?
I think so. If there's one that has more than that, it's either the original Mafia.
Or would it be Definitive Edition?
I don't know, but they're not high. I know that for a fact that they're not very high.
Yeah.
And
They're
obviously,
beloved, though.
Yeah, but like people have gravitated towards it, and it has a really strong fan base, and I would consider myself part of that fan base. And Mafia 4 is doing everything I want it to, and it's so impressive for a game that has historically had like a complete AAA price tag, and on top of that has gone fully open world, which is, you know, the norm for most AAA games. And now, you know, that same team is putting their effort into making something that is $50.
Yep.
And is a linear game.
Yeah.
And I don't know what the length is, but I would put very good money that it would be under 20 hours, maybe even under 15.
Max 30.
I don't think it's going to get that long, to be honest.
Right, but like if I'm to take like a very generous guess at like how, like, if this game is maximalized 100% completion, like I do absolutely everything, and it's linear, so it's not like there's like crazy side quests, but it's not like it's not on train tracks is how they're describing it. So it's like there is like alternative things to do.
Not like side quests, but like you can just explore the areas that are incredibly realized from what we've seen also.
I feel like it may be a solid 30. I could be talking out of my ass.
Yeah, if I was to put a solid guess on it, I would say 15 to 20. Mm-hmm. But take that with the just a mountain of salt, because I literally made that up.
We literally
have no clue. But it comes out in a few months. August 8th. Everything I'm hearing from this game is incredible. The game looks incredible.
Yeah.
I love the passion of the team that's making it. I think this is an interesting direction. I do. The one thing that I have with this game is like I did like that Mafia was that American period piece, because you don't get a lot of American period pieces that unless they go back to like the Wild West.
Yeah.
Right. And a lot of other period pieces are from like European countries or like Asian countries and stuff like that. And that like authentic American old school vibe, it's like this there's elements of BioShock that has that, but even that is like so unrealistic and everything.
Yeah.
So that's something I'm missing here, obviously, because it goes back to Sicily, it's Italy, and you know, different vibe. But
interesting because what is interesting me about this game, to be fair, I'm going to be frank, never played a Mafia game. I'm totally new to the series. I've always been like tangentially interested, but never like, you know, took the plunge. And I'm excited about this game because it takes place in Sicily, because it's this old, because I love the era they're going for. I love the setting. I love the sexiness and the gunplay, the gameplay, the high octane, like horse, car, on foot, knife fights, gun fights, looks phenomenal.
Yeah,
it's a type of
the
itch.
one thing I will say about that is we haven't seen raw gameplay footage.
No,
and as much as I love the Mafia games, they have a stilted nature to them that I really wish that they would. They kind of feel like they want to have like heavy combat, which is fine, but sometimes it feels like you have like a rod sticking straight through your character, and like every action is like, you know, if you're just listening to it, that didn't make sense what I just did, but just like standing straight up and just like swinging your arms around on like a pendulum.
Yeah.
And,
fuck you, audio listeners.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, I think if they can add that extra sense of fluidity, and I hope they do, because they're adding knife fighting to this game, and they seem to be putting a lot into that system. Like, so I really hope that that's what's expanded.
Yeah,
this has the opportunity to be the best Mafia game, I think, and that's really exciting to me. Mm-hmm. And the thing I'm obviously most excited about is the story. I think they've really nailed all of their stories, and Mafia 3 is still one of my favorite stories that I played in games. It would have been really cool to get our hands on this one.
It really would have.
But
even like a live demo on stage would have been really cool. And it's a shame that they didn't do that. But I'm still grateful for what they showed. It was still like, even just being in a theater like that, getting like not an E3 presentation, but the E3 light presentation like that was like another dream come true kind of situation where it's like, I'm here for this presentation of a game. And I can say that when I play this game 3 months from now, it's like I was in the audience when they were doing that.
Yeah.
And that's awesome.
I think that's great. Yeah.
And I'm excited for it. I think this is going to be my first Mafia game. I think I'm going to start from here and not.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to go.
It's technically the earliest timeline wise, so that works. And they're all pretty. They're pretty self-contained, but they have some cameos from one to another. Like the main character in 2 shows up at the end of 1 and does something like pretty major.
Yeah.
And yeah, they did confirm that there's going to be a few small cameos here in this from like, I assume maybe like the Dons from that you see in like Mafia 1. Will
Young
make an
Sheldon.
appearance. Young Sheldon?
Yeah, he's in here too.
He's going to be in there.
Yeah.
Well, what else they got?
Fetus Sheldon.
Yeah, okay. So there's going to be like a Doctor Strange portal that shows up like halfway through.
No. He's more.
And young Sheldon's going to walk through it.
It's Fetus Sheldon.
Fetus Sheldon's going to walk through it.
It's a little fetus.
Okay.
It's on the ground, dirty ground.
I understand.
And then like, I mean, you get the option. It's like a BioShock situation where it's like it's a harvest or rescue thing.
Okay.
But it's instead of
geriatric Sheldon. I want to see like an old man Sheldon. That's a show right there.
That is kind of crazy. Did you see that they made a spin-off of Young Sheldon?
That's ridiculous. That's just the Big Bang Theory, isn't it?
No. It was like someone that got married in Young Sheldon. Apparently, Young Sheldon's actually pretty good too.
I've heard, but I could not care
listen.
less.
I despise the Big Bang Theory. So
yeah.
Anyways,
and that's
Mafia.
super unique of you.
Is
I
it?
think. Yeah.
You think so?
Yeah.
I see myself as a pretty unique guy. This is why I got the
hating
mustache.
Sonic and hating Big Bang Theory, it makes you like, that's pretty cool, man. Wow. Look at this guy. Whoa.
Whoa.
Okay. Let's get back to some stuff that we played
Yes.
and didn't just see. Mycopunk. This is a Devolver published game.
Mm-hmm.
And the people that made this, it was their student project
Student project.
at NYU.
Shithead University.
Yes, sir. NYU Tandon. They were across from me. They were probably playtesting this, like while I was on the same floor as them. And now I come to Boston to play it, like at PAX, which is kind of fucking crazy.
Yeah.
But yeah, talk to me about Mycopunk.
Yeah. So this is one of my favorites that we played. Very popular here.
Yeah.
We like it's kind of one of the first games that you see. You see the big Devolver booth with like their they got a great logo, big logo, and it's like, oh, Devolver, cool.
Yeah.
They got 2 games on both sides of it. One of them is a game that's
We'll get to it later.
yeah. Which we'll get to. But the other one, the one that like the main big popular one, the one that people were checking out primarily was Mycopunk. And
So like you said Michael Punk.
Michael Punk,
Michael Zaki. You called it a Michael phone earlier.
love me some Michael. Michael
Okay, Dwight from The Office. Be like,
So Mycopunk, very quirked up idea where
Yeah.
you're like robots sent to this planet to like shoot a bunch of like weird like tendril like monsters.
Yeah.
They kind of like the way you defeat the monsters is very like Dead Space Necromorph like where
Yeah,
you shoot the limbs off.
limbs,
They have like they're sticking towards you. There's a lot of them. They ambush you. Some of them have like not turrets but like cannons on them that shoot you.
yeah. It's a first person shooter, by the way.
First person shooter, yes, I'm sorry. You 4 other people, you're robots. There's cool like cowboy robot, like a big tanky robot.
Yeah.
And then like one like that's like a Gundam, a slim Gundam kind of person with like jetpacks. And that was the character I played, and I had a lot of fun with that one. The cowboy, from what I understand, has a grapple hook.
Yes.
And then
Every good game has a grapple hook.
Every good game has a grapple hook. You put a grapple hook in any game, it's automatically not
They
automatically
put it in
10,
Crimson
but-
Desert. You talk shit about it for like 30 minutes.
Listen, it's because I didn't get to use it.
That's true. That's actually true.
Yeah. And I don't know about the big crab guy, the big tank guy. I didn't see that at all. But basically, your robot's sent from this like roach colony.
Yeah, cockroaches.
The
They had like
cockroaches.
this display set up with a bunch of roach milk cartons.
The devs were dressed up in like roach costumes.
Yeah.
Like nerdy kids just like hanging out like, hey, this is our game.
We're gonna talk shit about them.
No, like nerdy in like an endearing
No,
way.
yeah.
You paint me as a villain. And it was cool to see them do that, and it was cool to play their game. They seemed passionate about it, and I can tell that they were like overwhelmed with how many people were like playing their game.
Yeah,
I mean, they got
really
a thing
great
with Devolver, so it's like
they were at
huge.
Devolver. They had like the huge TV that was showing it off. They had a really well put together booth. That was a big
so
thing.
much personality in this game. Just
Yeah.
even like in the emotes, the lore behind it.
I don't know what the exact relation of the roaches is, but it seemed like there was some kind of like a Colonel from Metal Gear Solid vibe of like the roach was contacting you.
It's so in between. This is from the Steam page. In between missions, you're in like an orbital drop ship packed with toys, games. You hang out and you kind of like uncover more about the galaxy. And shoot the breeze with the insectoid Saxon veteran Rochard Cox, which that means you basically, there's a little roach guy in there that talks to you. You get to hang out with him. So I assume I'm assuming these roaches, this roach species made these robots.
Right.
And they're sending you out on missions. And it's just fun. Like, it's not serious in any real way. It's just like, go here, shoot. And like the fluidity felt great for the most part. It wasn't perfect to me because I didn't have time to like sit down with the controls. I really adjust the sensitivity and everything like that.
Yeah, the sensitivity was really high.
It was really high for you. It was kind of like not slow, but like disjointed for me, where it's just like I would turn, it'd be really slow, and then it'd go fast, like super fast.
It would be fine if the sensitivity was high on like keyboard mouse, but it was really high on controller, and I've just never been able to.
They only have controllers.
Yeah, and I've never been able to do high sensitivity on controllers.
Yeah.
But for anybody who plays Risk of Rain 2, I think this is going to be like very familiar to you. Obviously, Risk of Rain 2 is 3D.
Yeah.
But it occupies a similar
space.
Wait,
you mean third person?
Sorry, third person.
Yeah.
This one's first person. They're both 3D. But yeah, it occupies a similar space. Even visually, it kind of looks like Risk of Rain, where it's intentionally rudimentary and has like just like very eye-popping and sometimes very large creatures. There was even a boss that showed up at some point for some other group that seemed like it was very Risk of Rain-esque in how it was. But it's not a roguelike from my understanding.
No.
It's like almost like an extraction shooter?
Not necessarily. I mean, I think the best comparison is Helldivers.
Yeah.
Where
exactly.
you're launched into this thing, you shoot, you do a bunch of tasks, you drop your shuttle pod, you get out of there.
Yeah.
I haven't played extraction shooters enough to like really say that it's like that. I mean, just going off of like the name alone. It's like, I know that like in an extraction shooter, you're there to do a mission and then you get the hell out of there.
But yeah,
like,
it did feel very Helldivers.
This is very like Helldivers-like, where it's co-op. Like it's not PvP, it's PvE. You're shooting these aliens, you're working together.
I believe that you can play solo.
You can play solo. There is friendly fire too.
There's friendly fire. I think that's optional.
Which is optional, yeah. Oh God, I hope there's proximity chat.
I feel like most people would probably be playing with friends and stuff.
Probably, yeah. But like, I feel like it'd be really fun to like, when you die, your body is kind of just like it
splits in two, right?
It splits in two, and it's just powered down. And then your partner has to go up, grab like your lower half or your upper half, whichever and it displays
closer.
On screen really funny. Like there was one where it's just like he had his legs like up on his shoulders as if he was like giving him some like monster head. And then like you take him to like a little point and then they get revived.
Well, no, it's not just revived. So what happens is like you split in two. You can grab either side, either the legs or the torso, and then you walk over to the other half. So like when you die, you get like split and separated by like a large distance. And so you either take the legs to the body or you take the body to the legs. And when you do that, then like they essentially reassemble and they're back to fighting with you.
I gotcha. Okay. I didn't pick up on that.
That's the revive system.
Gotcha. Even cooler.
Yeah.
And so yeah, it's fun. But like I love the idea of like, oh shit, I'm about and then like it cuts off, and then it's like you can't really tell them that you're dead. They kind of just have to see it, and they go like, "Oh shit, did Landon die?
Yeah.
Oh fuck, let's put him back together." And then
And it's
like,
a little bit hectic and everything.
It is very hectic.
Yeah.
I mean, what we played wasn't very hard, but
It wasn't super hard. But
and I imagine it has the potential to be pretty hard. But
yeah.
Mycopunk, really interesting. I had a lot of fun
Yeah.
with it. I can't wait to see what they do with it next. There's a lot of potential here, and I just think if I play it from the comfort of my own home, mouse and keyboard, I would generally have an even better time than I did here.
Yeah, absolutely.
PAX.
And I also know that like ever since Gearbox acquired Risk of Rain 2, like ever since the IP got sold, there's been a lot of controversy around like the decisions that they're making, and people have been saying that they're breaking the game, and people haven't been the happiest with it. And I think this has the potential to fill that void a little bit. It's kind of in that same realm visually. It's kind of in that same realm gameplay wise, and yeah, I think people could really gravitate towards this. This one is coming out. It's by Pigeons at Play. That's the name of the studio. It is releasing in 2025.
Yeah.
I don't think we got a timeline for it, and also the Steam page just says 2025. But you can play the demo on Steam. So I believe either solo.
I think I'm going to download it when I get home.
Yeah, or if you have like a group of friends.
Yeah. I think they want to check that out.
Mycopunk, great one.
Cool. Fun fact: I saw Ben Starr today. We did.
Yeah.
Like we tried to get into the Elden Ring thing pretty early today.
Yeah.
Failed miserably. And it was like we were starving ourselves. We watched a video about Skyrim sweet rolls last night, and we were so hungry. And then like
I got really hungry.
Coming in today,
you put that on right after I brushed my teeth too, and so I was like, and you offered me goldfish after we had like a box of gold. He was like, "You want some of this? Hey, you want some of this?" I was like, I just fucking told you that I brushed my teeth.
Brush your teeth again, bro.
It's fucked up.
But yeah, like we were like, fuck this, let's go get breakfast. And we got breakfast. Someone stole our sweet roll, and just chilling there eating these like little mini donuts, cinnamon roll, coffee. And then I look to my right, and then there's Ben Starr just walking down the hall, and I'm like, holy shit. I didn't say anything, but like I kind of like looked at him, like kind of raised my hand up to slightly get his attention, and he looked over. You know,
I was gonna say no. You can't do a head gesture on a podcast.
I know.
Sir.
Fuck you, audio listeners. Tipped the coffee cup towards me or whatever. Looked very.
He didn't
looked
have a coffee cup.
It wasn't a coffee cup.
I don't think he had anything.
He had
in his
something in his hand. It was like
Did he?
it was
I
like a
thought he
drink
just-
in his hand.
I thought he was just like, hey, and just like had.
Maybe I'm remembering it wrong, and maybe you're dumb.
Okay.
Both could be
mutually
true.
Unexclusive, yeah.
But yeah, he did I imagine he did the tip of the coffee cup to me. He looked very delighted, and I was like,
Yeah.
yes, that's all I needed. I wanted to see Ben Starr when we got here, but he
Yeah,
was
you
doing
were
the
talking
Magic
about
the
it the whole time,
Gathering. Final Fantasy collab, and it's like I love Final Fantasy. I don't give a shit about Magic, so it's like I didn't really want to go there, or like I didn't want to do a meet and greet because it's like I don't like waiting. I wouldn't like waiting in line to meet some guy, even though I do like them and their work. It'd be really cool to meet them. Like that was enough for me.
Yeah.
And that was really cool. Just a little fun fact.
anecdote. Yeah, I left Ben Starr alone because I like to give people privacy, and I don't want to bother them when they're walking around and minding their own business. I'm really antagonizing you this episode for no reason. He didn't have a problem with that at all. He was super chill about it. I'm just fucking with you.
Don't destroy me right now, man.
Man.
I'll give him a kiss.
Yeah, you did blow him a little kiss afterwards. That was cute. My next one.
Yes.
Fresh Tracks.
Yeah.
This is a much smaller game. I mean, Cyberlich and Airframe Ultra and even Mycopunk, they're like still indie games. They're still smaller games, but this one felt like the first real like hidden gem that was in PAX that I think a lot of people maybe wouldn't get to.
Yeah.
This is a skiing roguelike rhythm game.
Beat Saber-esque.
Yeah, Beat Saber-esque. So essentially, you're on rails-ish. Sometimes there's 3 rails that you go between. And there are like trees that come in your way and you can slice them down with this like sword you have. You're skiing down a mountain. It's like this kind of almost endless mountain, but it is somewhat of a campaign. It's like a roguelike campaign.
Yeah.
So you're using your sword. You attack trees in like different directions to cut them down. Sometimes you have to duck, and sometimes you have to lean, and sometimes you have to grab little orbs that are coming down. It can seem really like chill and serene and nice, and you can keep the difficulty low, and you can choose the. You'll get to points where essentially like you finish a level, and then you have a choice to go into the next level, and it's very seamless, and you just keep skiing, and you have the option to like go down 2 different paths. And sometimes there will be like an easy path and then a medium path or a hard path, and they're labeled similar to like black diamond or blue and green, like similar to ski slopes.
Yep.
And so you can play a very easy version of this that's like very laid back and very chill, and then you can also play a version of this. I mean, I chose the harder difficulty, and I went to the harder.
Went to the hardest
difficulty. Yeah, same.
Which is like the metal one.
Yeah,
no, like the heavy rock one, and I failed miserably.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did not.
Yeah, it was like we were both kind of talking about it, and we were like, "This is cool, but it seems pretty like low key, so maybe it won't be like quite as engaging." And then we got into it, and I at least was like, and I play like a decent chunk of rhythm games, and it was getting a little bit tough at times. And I think what they're doing is really interesting. They have like different modifiers. You like get different abilities that make it easier as you go along. Like I said, it's a roguelike. They also have these once you beat the bosses, you get this ability to go back through levels and like change the genre of the songs that you're listening to. So it's the same song, but they change the genre of it to like from pop to heavy metal to I don't know what all of them are, but the music so far it's more like poppy. At least what I heard was like a little bit more poppy than or it's poppy and sometimes metal, like or rock.
It was like very like synth, not synth, like house pop.
Yeah, that's exactly. It was like it wasn't what you maybe typically think of when you think of a rhythm game.
Yeah,
but it did fit the skiing vibe,
definitely,
and I wound up liking it.
Super vibey,
music wise,
very like it can be as chill or as high octane as you'd like, which is really cool. And like that's what you want with a rhythm game is like a bit dependent on your mood. Like, what are you feeling? I found it really therapeutic in a way.
Yeah,
just like it was nice, just going through the rings, skiing. It's not like skiing at all, really,
not at all.
But like the idea of it is really cool, very quirky in some ways too. There was like a level with a bunch of crates, and there was like these little ninja guys. It was on the hardest level, like the guys that you have to slice or whatever.
Yeah.
They were around. You weren't slicing them or anything like that. They were like just chilling on the boxes and like kind of tantalizing you. And
I might not have gone to the exact same courses as you because they offered different ones. I died once, then I had to restart, and there was different courses.
Yeah. But like there was one with like a bunch of crates, and so it was like you're switching between the tracks, and you usually can see like which direction you need to slice to get like a tree or like a box or like a guy out of the way. But these ones were like obscured, and you couldn't see which direction you had to slice until you were on the track, which made it so like very last second you're like, oh shit, bang, and then you get through it, and it's like, that was satisfying, and then you kind of keep doing it. My main thing with this game was like I really liked it. I really jived with it. I just wish I had more time to play with the controls, so that way I got more used to mastering it. I was doing so bad because I kept fumbling. It's like, oh fuck, I didn't mean to do that. I meant to lean, just general stuff like that, which is like,
that
it's a demo.
and you're also playing at the hardest difficulty, and that affects it
definitely. I naturally pick the hardest difficulty when I'm playing all these games, and it's like, why did I not enjoy making a room for myself?
I think the only thing that I would say, there were two things that I wish they had. One was just like a little bit more game feel, a little bit getting that perfect hit, I feel like should feel a little bit more impactful, because it felt very similar to getting a not perfect hit. So that would have been nice.
Yeah.
And then the other thing is that visibility on things that aren't like your immediate obstacle was low. So like there was times when like a bunch of trees would come up in front of me, and I don't know which direction. Like so in Beat Saber, right? You're kind of in the middle, and the blocks are coming to your left and to your right. But because of the way that it's set up and the depth of it all, and the way that it's like going off to your sides, you can actually see like a few blocks ahead. And so if you get really good at the game, and you're able to very automatically get the things that are coming in close, you can already start paying attention to what's kind of coming ahead, and that's essentially how you get really, really good at the game.
Yeah.
And I got to a point where I was like playing on Expert Plus, and I was playing like faster versions of Expert Plus, so I got pretty good at Beat Saber at a certain point. And this one, the one concern that I had was like, yeah, sometimes the trees, which are big obstacles that are like taking up your vision, like you would slice one, and then there's one right after that is maybe like you have a slice in a different direction, and you don't see it until you're like a millisecond away from it, so you can't pre-plan for it. And I wonder how that would be when you get to that level where you can really do the expert difficulty and you're trying to perfect it.
Yeah.
Are you like memorizing levels a little bit more, which would be a little bit annoying, because I think a good rhythm game is like you can still do it based off of intuition when you get really good at the basics of it.
Yeah.
So, but even then, that's just like speculation. Maybe it's a lot easier than that. But yeah, this was just a fun little game. I mean, it's just really concentrated, and I liked it a ton. And they're from Vancouver, which is like bonus points for me.
They were super nice.
Super nice, yeah.
Probably
Canadian. I mean,
probably some of the nicest devs we've met. Like they're super chatty, very outgoing about their game. You can tell that they're really passionate. They're really happy to be in games too.
One of them had joined full time like 2 weeks ago.
Yeah.
They're just like super jazzed about it. Yeah,
it's just really cool. And it was nice meeting them. Buffalo
is the dev team.
Yeah.
It releases in 2025, most likely summer, they said, but I don't think they have an official release date or release window. No. Can you play it soon? It's going to be at a Steam Next Fest.
Yeah.
Which might be happening around the time that this releases. Whatever the closest Steam Next Fest is to this episode's release, whether it's happening right now or happening very soon, you should be able to play fresh tracks.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Great stuff.
Next up, another game we both played. And this is one that we were a little bit unsure if we were going to vibe with. And I think we both ended up liking.
I like the concept.
Yeah.
God Save Birmingham is an interesting... So when I say survival horror, I don't mean survival horror like a Resident Evil or like a Silent Hill. It's a survival game horror where it's a zombie survival based game. Again, too many words. Where you're, what was this, medieval?
Yeah, medieval. The city of Birmingham, which is like a smaller town outside of London.
You're the last survivor in this town.
Yeah, it's all been turned to zombies. Also, as a horror, I wouldn't say it's like horrific. It's like.
It's zombies.
Yeah, it's just zombies. Yeah,
slow, lumbering zombies.
Yes, so slow,
very slow, and
like
it's almost
you can stand a little far away from them, put your controller down, go and grab like a glass of water, come back, and they still haven't gone. Too kind of slow.
I don't know that slow, but yeah,
they're slow.
I know they're like
that's
literally.
That's not a knock against the game. They're slow.
Yeah. When I went to like the main town section. And I wasn't sprinting past the zombies. I was just like maneuvering around them.
Yeah.
And like waiting for them to come to me so that way they had enough space for me to like move around.
Yeah.
There wasn't any real urgency. I mean, like you can't stay in the same place. There wasn't a real urgency though when it came to like
until there is,
because sometimes they like, I mean, this is a scary thing about zombies is that they're slow and lumbering, but when there's a lot of them in one concentrated area,
and if you're like exhausted because you just ran a bunch and you don't have enough stamina,
you're fucked.
Yeah.
Which is really cool. Like we saw a couple of guys just totally get swamped.
Yeah.
It was really funny because they're bad at the game.
Exactly. That would never happen to us.
But I had a good time with it. I think it's very early.
It's super early. I mean, like, it felt like it was basically still in the concepting stage.
Yeah.
I mean, they said I picked up on an interesting conversation where they're trying to talk to historians about getting everything like perfectly accurate.
Yeah.
And he was like, "Yeah, there's some things in the game that just shouldn't be in there, like carrots." And I found carrots in my playthrough, and apparently carrots shouldn't be there in Birmingham at the time.
Yeah.
Or maybe just at all. I don't know if they grow there. And that was interesting. I was like, okay, so they haven't gone to that stage yet, and also that's something that they're hoping to address, which is great. But really, it feels like a very brand new team that are concepting it, and they literally said like we didn't expect to get a lot of people talking about it, really. But you and I, it was another one of those games where we saw it from afar and we were just like, damn, I think I need to try that. We were like talking about it for multiple days, like we got to get to this.
Conceptually, it's cool. You don't think, when you think of a zombie apocalypse, you think modern day.
Yeah.
You think, Dawn of the Dead style zombies. And this one, it's medieval. Really kind of like there's a creepy atmosphere to medieval times, because it was such a horrific kind of like life in that era is not good, some tells me, and so it's even made even worse because now everyone's zombies. They're freaky looking as hell. They're quiet, super quiet, and like the game was so early that it's like if a zombie's at a door, you don't hear them banging at the door really. Mm-hmm. And so it's kind of scary because it's like, can they break through the door? Like, is this like, I'm looting this area. There's zombies like right outside of me. I'm going to have to deal with them one way or another, or maybe find an escape route. But it's like, there was like a tension there where it's just like, oh shit. Like, are they going to like sneak behind me?
Yeah.
Because they're so quiet. Like the most you would hear is like moans and groans. But it wasn't crazy. Also, really weird quirk with this game. You press the number 1, you get a chicken on your head.
Yeah.
You got 2 chickens on your head.
I had 2 chickens at one point, yeah.
And the devs were like, it's not supposed to happen. And like,
it's like a dev tool to like make you fly in the game, which is like a cute little like...
Yeah.
So they still had... Again, it's so early that even at their PAX demo, like they had developer tools that were very easy to activate.
Yeah.
And...
Crazy that they're showing it this early.
Yeah.
Like, it's nuts.
And... I like the thing. I mean, it's just like a small thing that I like seeing from devs is like, you could just have a dev tool that makes you fly, but they were like, I'm going to put a chicken on our head to let us know that we're in flying dev mode.
It's really cute.
Yeah, it's cute. You mentioned like Eurojank when we were in line, because something about this game was we were in line for it and we were talking about it and we were like, in a way this looks really good, in a way it looks like it could also be horrible.
Yeah.
And I think, the unfinished nature of it, but like how slow it was. And, in the game, in the demo, you only have a pitchfork as your weapon and you're standing far away and just poke on zombies and like
getting too close,
going
push them
around
back.
and like and to be clear, there's like a lot of survival elements. Like you get thirsty, you bleed specifically in specific areas. Like they're trying to be very, very realistic about your survival in this game. But it was kind of a worrying thing where I was looking at it and I was like, this. If there's a game that this reminds me most of, it's Metal Gear Survive, which is like a sentence you never want to hear.
No,
but it leans into its like awkwardness and slowness in a much, much better way, because Metal Gear Survive was like, it was so afraid. It was just like, it was such a nothing game. There was nothing there, but even here, like, you can try and vault over a fence and ragdoll off of it, like and like your pitchfork will fall out of your hands and you have to go and you have to fetch it, and the fetching takes a while. There's like literally a loading bar of like fetching.
Did not like that.
You didn't like that?
No. The progression meter to grab an item, it's like, okay, like there's a certain thing where it's just like, not everything has to be realistic.
Also, that's not quite realistic. If you're picking up something, you pick it up. Like it's not
exactly.
like
that's what I mean. Like
exactly.
it's like, like this is. That's done. It's
I
like,
see why
it doesn't take 3 seconds to pick up a pitchfork. It doesn't take 5 seconds to pick up an apple.
Yeah.
And if you're going to get to a point where it's just like, okay, you're going to get realistic if you jump over a fence and if there's a chance you ragdoll over it, you should be realistic in the sense that if I'm picking up an item, I'm just going to snag it and pick it up, because what you're doing in this game is picking up items. That's
Yeah,
what you
it's
are
gonna
doing.
be a big factor. Yeah,
And it's cool. You can find really cool items. I found like steel leggings and boots.
yeah, that was cool. You were finding armor.
Yeah. And apparently, like if you like get suited up in armor, this is how early it is. You're just OP.
You're like invincible.
Like you are
basically,
literally
yeah.
invincible against the zombies, and the devs are kind of like, yeah, you like that's the meta, I guess.
Right
It's
now,
like we need to
yeah.
figure that out. And I asked, is like, are there going to be zombies in like suits of armor? And they're like, yeah. I mean,
Yeah,
basically there's not like the zombies don't respawn. There's a finite amount of zombies in it that all served a purpose in this town. It's like a recreation of Birmingham. In this town, you're the last survivor. There's the blacksmith. The blacksmith is a zombie who has like a hammer in his hand. You know,
Yeah.
there's like there's like mistresses. There's just random peasants. And then I assume when you get to the more like affluent areas, there's going to be nobles, knights. You can probably find a sword. You can probably find a
Yeah.
shield, all that kind of thing. Like that's what they seem to be leaning into. And there's the main goal is just to survive.
yeah.
It's just to see how far you can get, which is cool.
They said Project Zomboid was somewhat of a comparison. I've never played
Yeah.
that, and I don't quite. I've heard of it, but I don't quite know what that is.
My brother has played it. I don't know exactly the nature of it, but I do know that like it is addicting to like just it's basically like a zombie thing where you set up your base.
Yeah.
It's like you just keep surviving.
Yeah.
A zombie
You keep
apocalypse.
Metal Gear surviving. Yeah, I mean, last thing I'll say is even the jank. Like, I like that the jank was applied to the enemies as well.
Yeah.
Like, I had a moment where there was an uneven surface, and I had two zombies chasing after me. And again, I use the term "chase" very loosely.
Yeah.
And one of them tripped on the uneven terrain and like squirmed and face planted, and then the other one just like shuffled their feet forwards a little bit and like tripped over that other zombie. And so they're both
awesome.
like flailing around and
sick.
can't get up because their legs are getting tangled together. And you just go up to them and just like stomp their faces off. It was like it was goofy and janky in all the best ways.
Yeah.
And it's one of those things where, you know, if this was how the game came out, it would be reviewed poorly, I assume, like with what you're saying about how you could just become a tank with it, and there seems to be unfinished elements of it, and I'm assuming that picking things up and waiting 3 seconds like that would get annoying. But being aware that this is at the stage of development that it's in, I think it's a really interesting piece of like concept work that can go to pretty interesting places.
Definitely.
Yeah.
God Save Birmingham. When's that coming out? Or there's no release date.
Yeah, no release date. They're super early.
I think there is early access coming soon.
Early access is coming soon, but you can't play it just yet. And coming soon is a relative term, so who knows?
Yeah. But keep an eye out for it. Pretty interesting. A lot of potential. What is your next game?
My next game is Love Eternal.
Yes. Which I saw you play.
Yeah,
I didn't
you
play it
didn't
myself.
this one.
There was a really cool game next to it called Evergreen Aurora, something like that.
Aurora, yeah.
It was like this like
Digging Metroidvania
like
thing?
a brick breaker Metroidvania where you play this really cute cat. Kind of has this like Game Boy style.
Yeah.
Not like stiff, like very fluid, like pixel art Game Boy kind of thing. It looked very cute. I didn't get to check it out. I did wishlist it on Steam though, because I'd like to check it out myself. But yeah, you played, what was it, Love Eternal?
Yeah, Love Eternal. And from what I understand, this is from one of the devs. It's made by two brothers, and one of the devs was a storyboard artist on Adventure Time.
Adventure Time, yeah.
Yeah, that's kind of cool.
Super cool.
Yeah.
From what I understand, he's a professor somewhere in the West Coast.
Uh-huh.
And he storyboard work for Adventure Time, and then this has been like a passion project with him and his brother.
Yeah.
That they've been working on for like God knows how long.
Yeah.
Inspired by Silent Hill 2 of all games.
Yeah,
mainly.
the Steam description says it's like a psychological horror platformer, which I got inklings of because the game opens with like you're a character, the daughter of this family. You go to this the dining table, a phone rings, you go, nobody's there. You come back, your family is gone. You walk out of your house, and you're in this like liminal space.
Yeah.
And the gameplay is classic platforming with an anti-gravity twist.
Yep.
You can flip gravity once while you're in the air. There are little glowing orbs that you can pick up in the air in some levels, which will like give you like a second flip in the middle of the air. But they're like these really tight, kind of like Celeste, where it's just like the whole level is there right in front of you. You see it all. It's very small. You see the entrance and the exit, and you just make your way through it. And yeah, playing around with this gravity mechanic, there was a guy in front of us who was getting really angry because he couldn't figure it out.
Yeah, dude, that shit was funny though.
he was raging a little bit in front of us. But playing it, it was just like super tactile and felt really good to play. I mean, it's a very simple mechanical concept, but even just the sound design on it and the way that the levels were increasing in difficulty as it went along, I felt was really nice. And you could get the psychological horror elements because at one point in the demo, and again, it was only like a 10-minute demo or something like that, maybe even less. And you come back to the house where your family had disappeared from, and then like the dad's head shows up on a plate on the dining table, and he turns into this weird spider creature, and he's like, "You're late for dinner." And you walk out of the house again, and you see this giant statue, and then you see a door open, and you see like this ghostly version of yourself go through that door, and then you go after it, and then the demo ends. So there's definitely some very strange vibes going on with this one, but even just gameplay wise, I was really digging it, and this is the kind of game that I love having, especially on like a Steam Deck.
Yeah.
Just ripping through it. I assume it's a somewhat manageable size, and just a good single concept that I'm excited to see how they flesh out fully, and a story that has a lot of potential, I think.
For
and a psychological horror platformer, you don't see many of those. I mean, you think of like Playdead stuff. That's about it.
Yeah.
At least that's coming to mind for me. So, Love Eternal. It's by Brlka, Brlka. I don't know how exactly to say that. It releases 2025. It releases this year, actually. I thought it was a little further out, but you can't play it yet. But look forward to it, hopefully this year sometime.
Speaking of things that you don't really see, when you think of survival horror, you think of like a very condensed kind of like straight narrow path. This is like the horror experience that the devs want to show you. Mm-hmm. I played an open world survival horror game today, isometric. It's called I Hate This Place.
It's an open world?
It's open world.
I didn't know that.
Yeah.
I didn't play this. You played this. I didn't even watch you play this. I was off somewhere else when this was happening.
This was like one game that really caught my eye that I was like, I kind of have to check this one out. It's really interesting. What caught my eye about it, so think of like Resident Evil, not tank controls, but like you kind of like you're walking around, you're a girl with a gun, flashlight, spooky environment, and you're like navigating yourself through these like halls. It's isometric, so it's like top down, and then comic book style.
Yeah,
cell shaded. What was really interesting was like she was crouching. She wanted to be quiet. Like the walls, there's paint on the walls telling you to be quiet, and there were like footstep noises behind her, like trailing behind her. And so like if you're walking normally, it's like an average size kind of like clunk, 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 clunk. Yeah. But like if you're crouching, it's more of like a tiptoe kind of.
Right. It was like an onomatopoeia where it would just be. Like it would be saying. I think at one point you like see an enemy and it says like screech
or screech. Yeah.
Over top of them.
And so it was like interesting. Okay, I got to check this out. It took a long time to get to it. There's like the demo is pretty long. The guy developing it, this game is a Polish game. The guy developing it, he says that he can get through the thing in like 20 minutes. But that's because he knows what to do. Most people, it takes him like 30 to 35 minutes
Yeah,
get
and
through.
you were behind like a couple of people.
I was behind a couple of people. Thankfully, the person in front of me sucked at the game and died. Pretty. God bless you. You're great. But
Shout out.
But yeah, then I got to try it out, and I liked it. It's not perfect. It's based. So it's called I Hate This Place, and it's based on a comic book series by. I'm going to read this. Author Kyle Starks, Image Comics. I don't know much about the comic book. In fact, I didn't even know it was a comic book series, and this is my first introduction into this.
Right.
And that's kind of what I told the developer, because I asked like, why the comic book art style, and he was like, well, because it's based on a comic book, and I was like, oh shit, really?
Yeah.
Okay. So I feel like this is really interesting because it introduces a lot of people into the comic book by being a game, by being like a weird open world survival horror game. And that's really interesting. But there's like already kind of like a pre-established lore thing here. It's just like, oh, like I wonder how this ties into the comics. I wonder, like he said, apparently it's like a prequel to it. So it's like this is like a very like I guess beginner level kind of thing to get into it as a whole. Very interesting though. I know the creators don't have like they're just signing off on the stuff. They're not like making it with them. So very interesting licensing. I wonder why they chose this IP. Like of all things to like work on, but it was good for the most part. I think the voice acting was like blech.
Right.
I didn't care about the story really. I thought the gameplay was pretty cool. The melee stinked. It got to be real. It just felt very like one note. Like walk up, press square, hit. There's no like you can't move out of danger or anything like that. Which is like I hate melee combat where it's just like you're forced to being hit. Like there's no way to avoid being hit. But then like you get a gun and like the gun feels good and it's cool like pointing the flashlight around and like you see the light like on the corners and so it's like, oh shit, I don't know what's past this corner and I got to get closer and move the light. Thank God nothing's back there, you know.
Right.
There was some like intensity to it that felt pretty cool, but
yeah.
I wasn't entirely sold on it. I think it's still pretty early too. I generally like the idea, and I like the idea of an isometric survival horror game. I think that's really interesting. I'm not the biggest on the comic book art style.
I think that's what was putting me off from it because isometric survival horror, what comes to mind for me is Signalis.
Yeah.
Which I've only ever played the demo for. I haven't actually gotten into it, but I know people love that game.
Yeah.
And it has that like grungy pixel. Everything looks a little bit messed up in the pixel art aesthetic that I always loved.
Which makes it you kind of like take it more seriously.
Yeah, it like seems dirty and grimy and like gripping. And I think the comic art style of this one felt a little bit too poppy and like even the stamina and the health was just like it was sticking out a little bit for something that's so dark and survival horror focused.
It seemed very like preteen-esque, kind of like I'd like this if I was younger. Yeah. Which there's nothing wrong with that. Like then that's a game for
I also
like
think
other people.
I understand doing it in a comic book style if it's based off a comic book.
Yeah. But yeah, like not really much else besides that. I think it was pretty great. And there is potential there. I think if another game does do that kind of style, like I could be all over that. Like it's an interesting style of survival horror that like I'd like to explore more.
Yeah. You should check out Signalis.
I really should actually. But I'm really curious as to what the open world nature of the game is.
Yeah, that surprised me. I didn't realize that.
Kind of turns me off, but kind of makes me interested. So
I think that could be like a big distinguishing factor of it. Yeah. This one's surprisingly close to release, actually.
Is it really? Okay.
It says 2025. That might just be a placeholder, though. Mm-hmm. It's by Rock Square Thunder. Mm-hmm. And you can't play it yet. The demo's not on Steam or anything. Yeah. So, potentially it's coming soon, but it also might be like an old listing. He
said November.
Oh, really?
Yeah, and from what I remember, he was like, "Yeah, we want to hit November." So
okay, not an official release though.
Yeah.
Okay. Cool. And I guess to round out our top fives, we're still going to talk about like a couple other things after this, but to round out the top fives, I'll talk about a game that I played and you didn't, and that's Fretless. Mm-hmm. The full title is Fretless: The Wrath of Rifson. which
That's too much.
I would just call it fretless, to be completely honest with you. But this one is actually going to be out, I think the day before this podcast comes out.
Wow.
So by the time this podcast comes out, it will be out, most likely.
You'd hope so.
Yeah, May 22nd is the release date. And this is a... this is an indie music turn-based roguelike. No, not roguelike. I was just tossing the words together. I was like, yeah, it was something.
That was a fucking word salad right there, dude.
Exactly, yeah. That was an indie word salad for real. Not a roguelike. It is like an adventure game. Kind of, it gives like Pokemon, early Zelda vibes, especially Pokemon. It's just like, going around talking to friendly faces in the town and then going out and having those random encounters and stuff like that.
Looks very wholesome.
Yeah, it's very wholesome. The music and turn-based element is your character is a musician, and throughout the course of the game, you only get a guitar in the beginning part of this demo. Apparently in the full demo that's on Steam, and obviously the full game, which should be out by the time this airs. There's going to be multiple instruments, but they all have like different play styles and different attack types and everything like that. But the way that it works is that you have you almost build like a deck out of your abilities, and you can gain new abilities as you go, and you can kind of organize your deck and what kind of abilities you want to include in your deck. And when you're fighting somebody, you can choose up to 3 of those cards to put together in like a riff. So like a guitar riff or something. Mm-hmm. And so one of the cards might be like does 8 damage to one enemy, and another is like does 4 damage to all enemies, and another is like generates shield, and another could be does damage and gives you back the shield equivalent to the damage that you just did, right? Like it's all stuff like that. And you put your riff together, you lock it in, start your turn, and then there's this active element to the turn-based system where each of those moves that you just locked in has a different animation to it, a different like rhythm tempo to it, and it'll like highlight at the right time that you're supposed to hit the A button. Mm-hmm. And if you hit the A button at the right time and it like highlights properly, then you do even more damage.
Nice.
So it was nice to like put these things together and like play this quick riff and time all of the things together, and the timing's very like quick and precise. But once you do it a few times, it gets pretty easy to remember. I just like having a bit of an active element in a turn-based game. Same. And them adding that like musical element to it instead of just like a timer is really cool. And yeah, it's a lot more relaxed of a game. It was one of the more chill things that we played, and I think they said it's going to be 9-10 hours long, so nothing too crazy, but I think it would be a nice chill game to play in between other stuff.
Definitely.
Essentially.
Yeah, it's a very it looks like a very relaxing game.
Yeah. And there's I know I saw later in the demo there's a section where it enters like maybe like it's like a special attack or something, and it has this other rhythm section where you almost Guitar Hero like hit certain buttons at certain times when it gets closer to the end of the guitar thing. Yeah. And I'm excited to see how it expands its combat from there. It's a really like simple turn-based music game, but that's something that I've never really seen before.
No.
And
pretty neat. Yeah. I think the art style's a little ugly in my opinion.
Really?
Yeah.
I liked it.
I liked the pixel art, but I think like the general like the art that they had behind the guys, like it looked very like
like the cover art. I noticed that some of the characters looked a little weird.
Yeah, it looked like corporate like video, where it like the little like simplistic kind of shape feeling, like that's what these characters are supposed to look like, I guess. But like in the pixel art world, it looks a lot better because
Yeah.
there's a lot more like there's a lot more like up to interpretation there. In game, it looks fine. It looks
Yeah.
cool, but you can still kind of see it slightly. But overall, it does look fun. The combat looks really fun. I didn't get to hear the music. I wanted to hear the music because I felt like the music would have really made the rest of it for me.
The music's like pretty simple. Like I mentioned this to you earlier. It's like I didn't see anything that like blew me away.
Yeah.
But again, it held in tune with that like very simple vibe of the game and very peaceful and for the most part like yeah, there wasn't like a rock soundtrack or anything like that.
But there's a demo of this on Steam.
There's a demo, and again, like I said, like the full game is also coming out. So
Yeah.
those are our 5
Yeah, those are the
respective
5.
favorite shows games from the show. Just to wrap this up, I want to go rapid fire through
Yeah.
some of the other things that we played. So this one is just me, Glaciered.
Oh,
Do you
yeah.
remember this one?
Yeah.
This is like Fish Souls. Like you play as I shit you not. Maybe I'm getting this wrong, but I think you play as a tua. That's the name of the little animal. You play as a hawk tua. He looks kind of like a hawk as well.
Wow.
Like a fish hawk.
Okay.
The
You
combat
do
is
a crypto
actually
scam?
kind of interesting. Like swimming. What'd you say?
You do a crypto scam in the game? Is that what the game's like building towards? Is like
I
you building
was
your,
like,
your
what?
crypto scam?
What is it? Crypto. Yeah, exactly.
Bad joke.
The combat's like kind of interesting where you're like dodging left and right and up and down in the water, and actually it's so interesting because combat in the water feels way more natural than moving in the water. And moving in the water doesn't feel great, and also the voice acting is like rough. The like story is rough.
Yeah.
It wasn't like my favorite thing from the showcase, but I did actually think that some of the concepts that they were playing around with in the combat was pretty cool. Like there's a system where you essentially overheat your fins when you attack, and you can let off like bigger attacks like through that. And just the visual way that they communicated that, and encouraging you to be aggressive. I could see a lot of the fundamental like game aspects of that, where I was like, oh, that's a really good design choice. It is coming out. It's by Studio Snowblind. It's coming out Q3 2025, and the demo is also on Steam.
Cool.
I think this can find like a niche audience. I don't think I'll be revisiting it, but
It no offense, it doesn't look like it's gonna. It looks like just like
Who
kind of
knows?
another thing.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
just releases, and
Yeah.
that's fine.
yeah, it's fine. We also played Hellcock.
Yeah, Hellcock, dude. Jeez.
Hellcock.
Jeez, dude. Get your mind
It's a
out
sequel
of
to
this.
Hellboy. Hellcock. That'd be a good porn parody.
That's so
would be a
facts,
really
though.
good one,
Actually, yeah.
No, Hellclock is the name of this game.
Yes,
This feels so long ago. This was like one of the first things we
dude. I
played.
bleeped out of my memory. No, not really, but like. This guy just went up the escalator just to go down the escalator. That was really cool. I feel that. Hades-like, in a sense,
it
where
was
it's
like
like was it Spanish or was it? I'm trying to think. Was it like
I don't know what the
Brazilian?
Yeah.
Or Caribbean? I feel like it was actually
I
Caribbean.
think it might have been. Yeah.
Feeling like very Hispanic looking, like vibe, setting. Dark skinned guy, you running through
Something wrong with that?
this crypt, huh?
Huh?
Runaway?
No, I said something wrong with that.
No.
You said
Like,
dark-skinned guy.
Dark skinned guy, like that's the character, like in the thing. You make me seem like I'm the biggest asshole, and it's not okay, dude.
Yeah.
It's not fine. That was real, by the way. Anyways, so yeah, you go through the crypt. You have a revolver, and it's very Hades-like, basically. Just like simple roguelike.
Yeah, roguelike ARPG.
Yeah, like isometric angle. You're shooting the zombies. You're hitting them with your special attacks. There's the long attack. There's the spread attack. There's the dash attack.
Yeah.
You're fighting ghouls and goblins. You're getting gold, and you're trying to fight the boss. And the boss design is cool. The art design really sick.
I actually
really
like
like the art design here.
and the cover as well. Like the cover art was what really pulled us into
Definitely. So that was pretty sick. I don't really feel like that strongly
I don't
about
feel
it.
one way or another about it.
Yeah.
It's like
It was fine.
One of my biggest criticisms was that like you don't have an animation for running and shooting.
Yeah.
So like when you're running, it like runs. You can hold the shoot button while you're running away, and it'll run, pause, do the shoot animation, run, pause, do the shoot animation, and like you'll be in a standstill during the shooting animation.
Yeah.
And I thought that really threw the flow off of the game.
Definitely.
And other than that, it felt like a style of game that a lot of people have done, and some do it well, some do it poorly, some do it kind of right down the center, and this felt a little bit right down the center to me. And it's that with an interesting art style.
Definitely.
So maybe there's like a lot more hidden away with like the rest of the game. Again, these are all demos. We're basing this off of very, very brief interactions.
We are playing
with the game.
worst versions of these games.
We're playing the worst versions, and we're only playing them for sometimes like 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Some of them get a little bit longer, but yeah.
Next game.
Next game is Axon. So this is actually like very similar. Axon was the Korean one.
The Korean one. Yeah, I like
Yeah.
that one a lot better.
That one was I preferred.
Yeah.
That was also Hades like. They also said Slay the Spire was an inspiration for
Yes.
that, which was interesting.
Slay the Spire, Diablo, Hades.
Yeah.
South Korean studio. This is their first foray into making an action game. They were making like tower defense games.
Yeah. It was a solo dev.
Solo
for a really
dev
long time.
project, yeah.
Now it's they.
Six people, four or six people.
Yeah, I think six
remember.
people is what
who
they've
were all
gone to.
also solo devs, but they've kind of like
joined forces.
joined
with this
forces
guy,
into
yeah.
pushing this one really big project based on Korean like
folklore. I believe so. Yeah.
and like I guess the like mysticism angle to it. Really interesting. I liked it. Very Hades like. It's just
It's super
like
Hades like for sure. You can see a lot of the influences,
Yeah.
but I think it's also really great art. He did a lot of the art himself, and I was really impressed by that.
A lot of the game himself.
Yeah, a
already.
lot of the game by himself, and the cover art and everything.
Super sweet guy. Very endearing.
Very nice. Yeah,
Yeah.
I loved meeting him. He was great.
He was one of those guys. Another one of the guys who's just like, I had a super small booth. There's no like tape to like direct people where the line is or anything like that. Just people
they
are
bought their like a TV from Best Buy yesterday.
Literally
to show,
yesterday to show
like,
off the game.
the trailer. Yeah,
and people were clogging. Like we were like clogging the aisle because we wanted
to play a little.
We
bit,
wanted to play
yeah.
this game, and everyone else around us was really thrilled with the game. They all really liked it, and it's pretty great stuff. So,
Yeah.
What was the name again?
It's called Axun, AKSUN.
Yeah.
It says 20. It's by Weiwei Inc. It says 2025 on Steam. I really doubt that, just the way that he was talking about it.
Yeah.
And it seems like they're still trying to maybe get publishers, or if they self-fund, it'll maybe be out 2025, 2026. Maybe in early access, I think they might have said.
Yeah.
But yeah, potentially still looking for publishers. So it might take a little bit longer, but I think that's good for the game because it's like it's almost there, but I don't think it's so almost there that it could like really make a splash this year.
Next game.
Spider Lily. This is one that you kind of wanted to talk about. A little bit.
Yeah. Okay. So this one is super interesting in the sense that it's not a game yet. Really.
Yeah.
It's an art project, like an art exhibit by
That
this
will become a game.
that will become
at
a
some
game.
point.
Which, there's the rule: no game, no hype.
Yeah.
But I appreciated like the bravery and the kind of like
Openness also.
Openness.
They were literally like, we know this game it does not really exist right now. This is like an environmental showcase, if anything.
Yeah.
And they had like little statues of the art that inspired it, which was really cool.
Yeah. It's so this Chinese artist who this is basically her representation of the afterlife.
Yeah.
You play as this little girl who died, skull kind of face, very like somber looking tone. She's like a little sweet girl, but that's dead. She has a skull and everything. And then she like finds this fish on the beach whose eyes are being eaten by crows, basically. And then she like she takes the fish, bandages the eyes and everything like that. And you're carrying this fish around this like really strange terrain. This like the nature of these mountains, of the rock, is very human. Like you see like human ears, you see like hands kind of like shape and like form out of the mountains. And in this little like tech demo thing that they have, you play as the little girl. You're like running around in this like kind of open field, but in the very far distance, you see like a giant man. And it's like, oh, okay.
That's like part of the environment.
That's part of the environment.
And like hanging, like it was like a giant hand, and at the tip of one of the fingers was like a man dangling down.
Yeah.
It was like a very strange, evocative image. Apparently it was influenced by the time she spent rock climbing.
Yeah.
So it was a mixture of nature and human anatomy, essentially. Yeah. And so now the human anatomy is part of the rock faces and stuff like that.
It's part of the terrain. And just looking in the distance and seeing that, like, what's that? You like kind of walk towards it, and then you see it in person, like big giant man. And there's like this snake in his hand that's moving around. You can't interact with anything. It's just walk and jump, basically.
Yeah.
You're the little girl. She's running super fast too. It's kind of like a little
like there's no walking animation even right now. You're like sliding around places.
That's
it
how
is truly a tech demo of like just the environment look.
Yeah.
It's like a like we're getting a look into just the dev cycle of building the environment.
But the idea of what they want to do here is really interesting. I think the design is, the art design is so evocative and is so kind of like striking that it's like, this works. And if they can make this, some of the games that she said inspired her were like Journey.
Yeah.
She even pointed out Shadow of the Colossus too. You know, like no way.
She should go over to the Crimson Desert. She's like, oh,
just be
I've been
thoroughly
inspired.
underwhelmed. And it's like she's looking, and like that. Those are the types of games that she should be looking towards as like a North Star, basically.
Yeah. She called it a cinematic platformer.
A cinematic platformer, which is really interesting. I'm interested. I wouldn't say I'm excited. I'm very interested. I hope this project comes to fruition.
I want to see where it goes. And we're truly like so at the beginning level that the Instagram account for this game, I was like looking for, because I searched Spider Lily on Steam. I couldn't find anything.
Nothing.
I searched Spider Lily game and I couldn't find anything on Google. And I literally had to, like, I scrolled down and there was a Instagram thing from PAX. And they basically made the Instagram account for PAX specifically. Like, they made it in time for PAX. So the earliest post is like 4 days ago.
New. Brand spanking new.
It's like just a concept. So, yeah, that was definitely cool
really
to
interesting.
see.
They were super nice.
Yeah, very nice, very nice.
I hope it works out for them.
Yeah. Control-Alt-Deal.
Yeah.
This was the... this one is being made in Edmonton, so I hate it.
Yeah. Fuck those guys.
Exactly. This is a game where you're playing as this like hacking software, and you're seeing all the security cameras in a boring ass office.
Yeah.
And really cool visualization of the different rooms and in this like isometric neon view. And you have it's like a deck builder. And you use it to like snoop on people and learn information about them and like get them things and get people on your side and convince them to be like opposed to something else, or there's something that's blocking you from accessing something in a room, and so you grab something from a different room, put it in that room, scare the thing off, and now you have access to something in that original room.
Yeah.
And you're doing all of this through just interacting with like what's going on in those rooms through the security camera and the deck of cards that you are collecting over time. I thought the concept here was really interesting, and it was really on rails for the demo. but I could see how it could expand into something.
It was like
really
a
intricate
digital board game.
Yeah, kind
and
of.
there was like a chance meter to it. You kind of like overview of like everything that you need to do, or that you need. Even the icons, like the pieces, look like miniature board game pieces that you like click on. Super interesting though. I liked it. They seemed passionate about it. They were very nice. Kind of loosely interested in it. So
cool. Yeah, I think I vibed it a little bit more than you did, but also I should mention for Spider Lily, the developer is False Work. If you guys are trying to like find it,
yes.
Control Deal is by only by midnight, TBD release date, but the demo is on Steam.
Yeah.
Another game that I played that you didn't, and I don't think you even saw this one, was Strings Theory.
Yeah.
This one actually just came out, like literally just came out a couple days ago. And it's a puzzler, also isometric. It reminds me a lot of How to Say Goodbye, which is also a very niche puzzle game. But you play as these three characters and they all have different abilities. And the abilities are very simple. It's like you're going across this simple isometric landscape that is just like white blocks.
Yeah.
Like honestly white squares. They have like no depth to them. And you use that to like go around this small level that you have to beat a puzzle in. One of the character's abilities is just to like knock down a tile, like if you essentially like push it down so that you can open up new paths. Another character can like go inverted, so there are some areas that can only be accessed if you're walking like upside down. Jesus, my voice is really going.
Yeah.
Holy shit, you were walking upside down.
That was so embarrassing for you, dude.
Yeah, it really was. I was trying to push through it, and then you really pointed it out afterwards.
Yeah,
as well.
I'm keeping. You
God
fucked
damn.
me over
yeah,
before
you
this.
Did.
So.
Yeah, I did. To be fair. Yeah, so you can only get through by like walking inverted and going around places. And then like there's certain levels where you're playing as all of the different characters. You have to piece their abilities together. I didn't get super deep into this because again, just a demo, but yeah, it's got a pretty positive score on Steam for the few people that have played it so far. So yeah, Strings Theory by Beautiful Bee. It's out now on most platforms except for PlayStation. That's coming out in a couple months.
Cool.
So yeah, Batsu. This is the last one that we want to talk about. Mm-hmm. This is the other Devolver game. So this was like you play as, it was like Rock'em Sock'em Robots type.
Yeah.
Fall Guys-esque, where you're playing as these cool voxel art robots and you're playing a bunch of sports, and one of them is like just trying to stay like
in the ring,
in like a sumo circle type thing, and you get knocked out into lava. One of them is soccer, one of them is basketball, one of them is football. And we only played the sumo game, but a lot of fun. Again, grappling in this one as well. You're knocking people off. Very Party Animals-esque as well.
Gang beasts.
It's
kind of just one of those things where it's like you're placed up against each other, and it's like knock each other the hell off. Like be as mean as you possibly can, and like use your abilities. Like some of the abilities, like we had like a grapple hook, which is really interesting.
Yeah,
you had like Iron Man, like freaking like repulsors, like that you could like jetpack yourself out. That you don't shoot them with it, but like you like it use it to like jetpack and like regain control of yourself if you're in the sky. It's very finicky and it's very like aggressive. It's like you don't want to hold it down because you'll just start fucking flying everywhere. But super chaotic, really high octane, fun party game. We like there's a big smile on our face the entire time we were playing it. You sucked balls at it.
I was really bad.
Yeah.
No, like the first like match, I just fell off immediately. There was another like
it was hard.
Reset,
to be
and
fair,
I fell off immediately again. I was really bad.
Yeah. But I had a lot of fun with it. It's out now?
Q3 2025. But there is a demo.
There's a demo. Okay.
Yeah. By Peculiar Pixels. Yeah, really fun. I think
fun.
this again, there's a certain niche for this. Fall Guys is like not quite as much in the zeitgeist as it used to be.
Yeah.
Some of these are like feel like fads sometimes, but this one being as like comprehensive as it is and having the art style that it does that kind of separates it, I think. Yeah, I think this has a
Just it feels. It's one of those games that you just sit down. If you're like having a part like people, friends, or like family over at your house, just sit down with this game and just get so mad at each other.
yeah.
And it looks, it's that kind of fun.
Yeah. So yeah, Batsu, and yeah, those are all the games we played. That's quite a bit.
So many games.
So many games.
Yeah.
Legs are tired as hell.
Oh my god, dude! One
Yeah,
thing
you
is
were
tired.
looking a backpack around all day.
Yeah. Well, shut up. You were lugging an even heavier backpack the first day, but
I'm sympathizing with you. I don't know why you're telling me to shut up.
Shut the fuck up. But yeah, no, very tired. Long days.
Yeah.
Even recording this, I'm kind of like, oh my goodness. All right, we're like done for the night. Finally, like my brain can shut off.
Yeah.
For a second, because it's just been like ever
It's
since the
been a
morning,
lot, yeah.
constant like doing stuff, and it's like that's good. It's good. It's
Yeah.
like we're not bored, so
Yeah.
that's a very good thing.
Yeah. Well, if any of these games interested you guys, give them a wish list. Check them out.
Please.
Let us know what which of these games interested you the most, and yeah, we'll be back virtual for the next one.
Yeah, we won't see each other ever again.
Yeah, I've been too mean to Landon. He doesn't want to see me again.
It's kind of done.
All right, that's it. Thanks for
That's
watching,
it,
guys.
man. Hey, you guys have a wonderful night out there. Stay tuned for some more content. OnlyFans coming soon.
Exactly.
PAX East, baby.
Let's go.
Hey, my name's Asid. You probably know me from my YouTube channel. Goodbye.